As you know, this was kind of like the time back when I was in the pub trade and I had my own pub and things like that. And one year in sort of like the early parts of the year, about this time of year that we're at now, we had the worst storms you've ever seen. I mean, I'm talking there was thunder, there was lightning, there was rain, and I'd never seen quite so much rain. Anyway, just out of the back of where this pub was, the whole river and kind of whole landscape was there. And because of all the rain coming down from the mountains and the hills and everything else, the river started to rise and rise and rise. And there we were in the pub wondering what was going to happen. Now, on the lower ground floor, we actually had like a whole kind of garden area, an outside area. It was really nice. People did weddings there in the summer and it was absolutely lovely. But the water started creeping up and creeping up and creeping up, starting to cover that whole landscape. This storm one night, it was just so big. I was there on the top floor asleep, but we were there in the whole place, and the weather was just going nuts. And I mean, like hugely nuts. Like the crashes of thunder were that loud that the whole building was shaking. And we actually had like a lightning rod conductor on the building as well. And we're pretty sure it got struck a couple of times because there were parts of the roof that were just singed and scorched the next day. Anyway, the water starts rising and rising and rising until it actually starts to flood the whole of the garden, all of the kind of like wedding area, the whole spaces, and all of that kind of stuff. There were tables and chairs and everything all floating off down the river and into the water and floating off down the river. I was out there 2 o'clock in the morning trying to hold on to items of furniture in the water whilst it was trying to get pushed down the river, trying to drag it back out and everything else. It was a whole scene. It was a really, really, really weird time. But yeah.
This is I, chat. Chat did not get trolled at all here.
Like everything there was true, yeah.
Oh man, you got caught instantly by Muzo rights.
I know, trying to troll chat and Musarides gets me instantly.
That was
Man,
wow. We
was
thought
felt so smug before the show that
we
that
we
was going to work really well.
yeah we thought that was gonna be a troll. All right, chat's too good.
Wow,
Chat's too caught up here.
chat's chat's too good.
Wow, yeah. It's so hard. I feel like it is really hard to fool chat.
I think it is, yeah.
Twitch
Yeah,
chat is
it's
the
only
hardest.
happened once. It's only happened once, right? When I did the whole Jaws film.
Jaws,
That's the
yeah.
the only time I've ever convinced chat that either I wasn't doing a movie or whatever. And this time it was real, and I was hoping people would think it was a movie, and it wasn't. It was real.
All right.
Oh
Clearly,
well.
clearly, we need to put some more thought in this so we can we can troll them a bit harder next time.
Yeah, I need more prep. Instead of 2 minutes before the show, I need like a couple of days prep, I think.
Oh man. Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the pre-show. Glad to have you guys in here, all you early birds, Muzo Rides, Rabbit Sensei, Anaki, OJF. How are you guys doing? Zakaria says, "Howdy gamers." Any gamers in here? I'm kind of a gamer, I guess.
You're more of a gamer than I am. Let's put it that way.
That's probably just because I might have more free time than you.
Yeah,
You'd probably
yeah.
game more if it were fittable in your schedule.
Yeah, although I'm a console gamer, I'm a scrub gamer, not a PC gamer. So
Hey
yeah.
man, we're all it's all gamers, right? It's all gamers. Ozzy Buzz asks the best question I think of that has ever been asked in the history of Top Clack. What happens here? The reason why that question is amazing is because a lot of the times nobody knows. That's just kind of part of the charm these days in particular. Top Clack has
You
gone through many changes, and we're currently at a stage where most of the time we don't even know what the hell goes on here. But we try to have fun, we try to have a good time, we try to spread some positive vibes, and we try to be we try to be wholesome, and hopefully you guys can reciprocate that as well.
Yeah,
There's a
we,
lot
we
of
literally decide like 10 minutes before the show what we're going to do sometimes. Like, that's how close we cut it. Gone are the days of like old school docs being procured and curated over the course of a week in the build up to a show. That doesn't happen anymore, guys. Let's be
yeah,
honest.
people are just like, well, Quakeums, you're just lazy. And to that I say, yes. Yes, I am. I completely agree. But, that's just how life goes sometimes. Oh, man.
Just
Bark.
started a new batch of coffee, and this might be the most delicious coffee I've ever had. This is really
Oh,
good.
Is it a
Mm.
new blend, perhaps, or is this the one you've been using?
Yeah, no, it's a new blend. I didn't even read what it was. I just grabbed because I was in a rush to make it before the show. I just grabbed a packet of coffee out of the cupboard because I get like a monthly delivery, which gives me three new brands of coffee or
Oh,
types of coffee every month, and then I usually drink them over the course of the month and get three the next month. But this one is obscenely good. But I don't even know what it is. I didn't even read the packet. I just poured it in the hopper and I went away. But it's really nice.
Nathan Alphaman is asking if it's a blend of GMK Tears. We're not getting into that.
One day, Nathan Elfman, we will have a conversation about what you're referring to. One day,
One
but
day.
that day is not today.
Cyber Ghost, hello there. Marcel Goes Fit, good evening to you as well. Sour, glad to have you. Thanks for the heart. Trojam says, I'm a gamer. I'm sure lots of you are gamers.
Nice. I think most people are gamers these days, right? Everyone's got a poo game, right?
Is that... I had never heard that term before, but as soon as you said it, I immediately knew what it was.
Yeah, right. Everyone's got one, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you include, like, mobile games, then, yeah, I think a lot of people are gamers.
Yeah, yeah.
James says evening. Evening to you as well, man. I guess see, for me, it's only 1 p.m., so it's too early for my evening.
Yeah, it's 9:05, so it's definitely it's past evening for me. I'd class this as nighttime now. I think 9 p.m. is like nighttime. I think it's the flip point between where evening ends and nighttime starts. I think.
Zakaria says we're all gamers on this blessed day. I agree. So gamer is not what you do. Gamer is a state of mind. Can't convince me otherwise.
Nice, nice. I like that. Yeah.
Cyber says Pokemon Go is my poo game. Don't you have to like be moving to play that game? I played that game one day. I played Pokemon Go the day it came out, and that was the only day I played it. And I was already bored on the first day.
Fun fact: I too played it on the day it came out, and do you know where I was when I played it? I was in the United States of America.
Where are you?
Back in 2016, yeah, summer 2016. Yeah, another fun story because we're sharing stories about me this time, and no one believed it was a fake thing. It was completely 100% true. Another true thing about me is when I bought the house that I lived in at the time, I got the keys on the Friday to the house because it was delayed for so long. Like the house was like a new build and it was completely built from scratch. It was delayed for so long that I got the keys to the house on the Friday, and on the Saturday morning I flew out to the United States for a 2-week holiday. So I literally had the keys for the house and had to move in and then literally rush from moving into the airport. That was my life back in 2016, I think.
This is just your life is like a movie, Jay. They should just call it the life of Jay. You know.
The life of
They already had the
like
life of Brian,
the Truman Show,
which is not based on me somehow.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know. There might be some bits of truth in there. Some nuggets of truth in there.
All right, we're not we're not doing that. Zava says feels like gamer is more associated with negative stuff. That's true. I guess gamer is not really like a positive term in today's culture. Nathan says at least it's not 4 a.m. Throwback TBT Thursday streams. Yeah.
Yeah, throwback to Thursday streams. Yeah.
Throwback Thursday. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't.
Yeah, that was. When did we stop doing that? I feel like it wasn't that long
it
ago
wasn't
we stopped
that long
doing Thursday
ago.
streams, right?
It
was only like 3 months.
It's been like three months probably.
Yeah.
Which is that's still a throwback. I feel like when people do throwback stuff, they throw back to like a couple weeks ago. And I'm like,
Is that how it works? Okay.
Fair enough. James says I didn't want to say good night as it wouldn't be an appropriate time for either of you to go to bed. Yeah. Except I am kind of a day person now since I started working again. I used to be on more of a night shift and now I'm on like a day shift, so my schedule's all sorts of wonky. It feels weird being up in the morning now. Like I actually have like a 7 a.m., 8 a.m., which is really strange to me after spending well over a decade on night shift.
I'm usually in the workshop long before then. Like in UK time, it's like 6 o'clock in the morning when I get here.
You are a responsible human adult, Jay, and I am basically a man-child.
I'm not sure I'd even put human down as a right tag for what I am, to be quite honest. I don't think any of those words fit me.
Oh man.
Jam says he's been playing games since the Commodore 64. ZX Spectrum for me, man. That was my first games console, the ZX Spectrum. And I do remember loading games by by cassette tape. You put the cassette tape in, you'd play it, and it would make a horrible noise for 20 minutes, and then you'd be able to play your game. Or more often than not, you would not be able to play your game because it had missed or skipped or missed something out and not done something properly.
That's kind of interesting. I guess I'm a little too young for that. My earliest gaming memories are of the NES, so I guess I was a little bit fancier, in that sense. But man, I played the shit out of the Nintendo.
Yeah,
Battletoads, Mario,
that was great.
Jackal, Double Dragon. I mean, there's some classic titles on that, you know.
Paperboy. I don't know. I'm not sure if that had the same title in the US, but where you played
I
a
think it
used
did.
Paperboy.
Yeah, Excite Bike. Oh man,
What
what
was
a
the? There was one where you flew a jet. I can't remember what that game was called now, but that was on the original Nintendo. I'm sure it was. I don't know. I don't know. It's so long ago now. I can barely remember. My first non-cassette console was actually a Atari 2600.
Pilot
Really
Wings.
showing my
Oh
age
my
now.
gosh,
Yes, it might have been Pilot Wings. That
that's
name rings a bell. That does sound like it could have been it. Yeah.
yeah, man. What a throwback. Okay, we should. I guess we should probably start this stream. As much as I'd love to
We
just
should.
continue to talk about video games, which I'm totally down to do most other times. Yeah, we'll try to get some keyboard related stuff in this week, guys. Don't worry.
Let's try.
We'll
Yeah.
try.
Yeah.
We'll
Let's
try.
try.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Top Clack. I'm Quakums. That's Jay. And I know last week was a very somber week if you were here. This week, hopefully a lot better. I'm feeling a lot better. Hopefully you guys are feeling good as well. I know we didn't really talk about keyboard stuff last week, and we'll change that a little bit this week. So hopefully you guys are okay with that as well. But welcome to this week's show. Jay, how you doing today, man?
I'm good. As always, I'm tired and exhausted. It's been a long week, but I'm good. I'm excited to talk about keyboard stuff and maybe even to show some keyboard stuff.
Yeah, so if the title of this stream is any indication, we are going to be doing a little bit of a show and tell, but we want to kind of include you guys as well. So here's what we're going to pretty much do. We're going to be showing off some keyboards, we're going to be talking about them, we're going to be maybe telling any backstory or history that we have with them. Maybe some thoughts as well. Obviously, Jay is going to be doing the same. And we kind of want you guys to get involved with us as well. So if you guys have some keyboards you want to show and tell, whether it's something new, something old, something vintage, something important to you, something that you absolutely despise, that's totally cool. Show us a picture. You can share Imgur links in the chat. We can show them up on stream. We will vet them, of course, beforehand, so don't do anything too crazy. And send us a little story or some thoughts along with it. We kind of want to see what you guys have going on as well, so that way it's not just us being like, here is a really nice keyboard. So,
Absolutely, yeah.
yeah. Nathan is asking if you can have the hookup on your flat cap supplier.
Well, I didn't see what he said, but I just got a notification on my phone that he's DM'd me, so I think that's what he's DM'd me for. He's asking where the flat cap supplier is. The sad news is that I've had this hat for like 15 years, and I have no idea where I bought it from. So yeah, I probably can't.
You just got to go to the UK, apparently.
Yeah, like flat caps are on every street corner. Yeah. Switch Keys AU, thank you very much for the 17 months of subs, dude. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. It's very, very nice of you to be here. So thank you very much for that. Tier 1.
Yes, absolutely. Arc Keebs is asking any leaks. We don't do leaks here. Unless we do. Sometimes we do leaks, but we don't really have anything to leak. Yeah. So there you go. Good evening to you as well, Cold. Morning to you as well, Switch Keys. Wow, we're all throughout the world right now.
Yeah, I was speaking to Steph when it was 11 p.m. his time. When it was 10 p.m. his time as well, actually. And it's almost 10 p.m. my time, so it's kind of interesting that it's come full circle. That's cool.
It's such an international hobby, right? It's
right. Yeah, like Like whilst I've been working, he's been asleep, the lazy sod, and now he's awake right as I'm about to end my day. I mean, what's all that about?
Oh my gosh. So, Poo Typer in chat just says good evening. And this is really aptly timed because I had just learned through Jay moments ago on stream that Poo Gamers is a term. And I almost
Yeah,
wonder,
poo
is
game.
this a brand new account or is this just really this coincidental? I need to know. Um,
Everyone has a poo game. They do. That's just how it is.
this account was created a year ago. Oh my god. Okay, so this is just really aptly timed, and
Just
that makes me
coincidence.
really happy. I gotta be honest.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
That is awesome. That is so freaking hilarious. Okay, anyways, like I was saying, we are going to be doing a little bit of a show and tell. We want you guys to kind of join us as well. So if you have any keyboard pictures you'd like to share, along with some stories, good or bad, because we're always interested in the nitty gritty of things as well. I feel like the really positive kind of keyboard experiences are just as interesting and impactful as a lot of the negative keyboarding experiences.
100%. Yeah.
So feel free to share pictures away and let us know. Let us know the stories behind them, your thoughts. If it's something you love, if it's something you hate, we're interested. We can we'll be showing them on stream a little bit as well. So feel like just get those in, guys. Just get those in, and we can talk a little bit about some of our stuff as well. While I figure out how to navigate OBS, apparently. Why don't you start us
It's
off?
been a while.
They've changed a couple things, but. Yeah, no, we're good. We're good. Why don't you start us off, Jay? What is our first board of the day? Because I know you have some interesting things you're working with.
So I do have some interesting things, and I've just realised that I don't have anywhere near enough space on my desk to start doing this. But the first thing that I want to share is something that actually Nathan Alphaman might be aware of. Um, so this is a prototype that I haven't built as yet, but I will be building on stream at some point soon. And the really interesting thing is it comes with a Scotch-Brite pad. In fact, the fun fact here is it doesn't come with a Scotch-Brite pad. It actually comes with two Scotch-Brite pads.
Huh.
Can you guess what it is yet?
We'll let chat take a couple whacks at this.
Yeah, chat. See if you can guess what might be here. It comes with Scotch-Brite. It comes with two different Scotch-Brites. I won't show you this. This is just the PCBs and plates and stuff like that. But I will show you the board. In fact, I told a lie, guys. I told a huge lie. It comes with three different Scotch-Brite pads.
Okay, this is pretty interesting. So that would be for probably polishing, right? Excuse the noobness.
Polishing is one of the things they could be used for, certainly. Yeah.
Okay. Also, I just want to address a quick question. Static Age in chat is asking, you want us to post pics in the Discord, just joining in. No, post pictures right here, right into Twitch chat. You can share Imgur links, or comparable, and we will vet them beforehand before showing them on stream. And then just include some information, whether it's information about the board, a little backstory on it if you want, whether you love it or hate it, and maybe the reasons why. Feel free to get as involved as you guys want.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Okay. So a few people have guessed in the chat what it might be. Tronic said Norbauer. It's not Norbauer. Cyberghost asked if it was just a box of Scotch-Brite pads. Nope, just the three pads in there. That's all it was.
Just a box. Imagine if it was just a box.
Just for like 5 minutes. Like, no, sorry guys, I lied. There's three. Oh, actually, no, I'm still lying. There's four. I just carried on that meme for like 5 minutes until I had like 20 Scotch-Brite pads. That'd be quite.
If you had done that, Jay, it would have been probably a defining, amazing moment in the Top Clack history, and I totally would have backed you on it.
The next clue is that this comes in golden wrapping paper, which I'm just going to put to one side. Now, I haven't looked at this in the flesh. This is the first time I've actually taken this out of the case, so I'm seeing this for the first time with you guys. Okay, all right, I'm already a little bit in love with this, like just from seeing it on my desk. But this is the polycarbonate Evolve. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this and bring this on Show and Tell is for a number of different reasons. The main reason being the use of new technologies in the hobby to create things like this. And I know, Brian, you've already taken a look at one of these boards as well. But using generative design to create supports and structures that are then, created in real life with keyboards. I think that this was kind of a turning point in keyboard design in the hobby for me, and seeing something as creative as this actually turn out to be a reality has been one of the big things I've loved and following over the past year or two. Ever since I first saw Nathan's design, I wanted to kind of understand more about it, how it was generated, how he did the design, what the impacts were on the on the keyboard, how it was going to sound, how it was going to feel, what it was going to actually look like. And now I'm lucky enough to have this in front of me. And I just wanted to share how cool that is.
That is super cool. And you're right. I actually have one right next to me that I was supposed to build like a week or two ago. Um,
There is
which I
his logo. I apologize, guys. There's a load of fog on the thing because I've just been breathing on it while I was talking for the past minute or so. But there is Nathan's logo as well, the A for Alpha Man.
love it. It's good stuff. I also like the. I found it really interesting. The around the weight towards the back of the board, the kind of change in opacity. To
Yeah,
the I thought
you
that
can
was
see
really
that.
interesting as well.
Yeah, I haven't taken the board apart yet to have a look inside, but you guys can see how it changes in opacity here. It's actually thicker in these parts and a little bit more difficult to see through, but you can see through parts next to the weight here. In fact, you can almost see all the way through. You can see my thumb waving around just behind.
Mm-hmm.
It is pretty interesting. It is pretty interesting.
Nice, nice. So have you not built one of these before, Jay?
I haven't. This is the first time I've seen this actually face to face. Like I've had it in the workshop for about 4 weeks now, something like that, and I hadn't taken it out of the box because I wanted to share it on stream at some point. So this is the first time I've actually seen the board with my own eyes. It's just been in a box since it arrived. I hadn't actually unwrapped it and taken a look at it.
Nice, nice. I'm really excited to build this one as well. Jax, thank you so much for the tier 1 sub, man. Good to see you.
22 months as well, man. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, so that's my first show and tell piece, and I'm really excited about it, and I can't wait to get a chance to build it.
Nice, nice. So we'll rotate a little bit. I want to try to rotate in some of the people in chat again. Share a picture, tell a story. Let us know about boards, both good or bad. It's always kind of fun and interesting and nice to have a little extra variety. Because as we all know, keyboards aren't always amazing, and your keyboarding experiences are not always amazing. And some boards you just don't want to use again, right? All right. And with that said, I'm actually we're gonna talk about static ages show and tell for today. Again, guys, feel free to join in. He says, I got into keyboards in November 2019, and I fell in love with the hobby. Started off with a Singa V3. Wow, what a board to start out with.
Nice. It's a great board stuff. Yeah.
But I got my first 40s board. I knew I had found what I liked. I also love how that segment of the community really embraces the DIY, stacked acrylic, 3D printed options to keep things affordable. It's very true. That's super true. Like the 40s Discord and the Japanese community too is like that as well. It's all about it's all about high value, small boards, ergonomics, customizability, very very DIY. So I'm gonna swap this over and show this as well.
Yeah, I'm just looking at his collection now. There's some really cool looking boards in there.
Yeah, this is super cool. I don't even know what most of these are, which is probably a good thing. I believe I know what this is. The top left is that a Prime E? I feel like
It looks like it could be. I think the one to the right of that, the white one, is just a different case for the Primey, I think.
Oh, okay. I can kind of see that now. Very interesting. This is 40th collections are always really interesting to me because I feel like they're always so varied.
In fact, the whole left column might even be Primeys. All three might be Primeys in just different versions of cases. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, Sack Cage, but it looks like there's a couple of versions of it. Yeah, like Primeys in different cases.
Yeah, that's really cool. What is this
Yeah.
this one on the right that's I think stacked acrylic with the very interesting top row. This is a very strange layout that I'm kind of intrigued in.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. It's like an ISO 40s with an Afro.
The thing that's always been kind of interesting to me about like 40s is it's so much more about the layout than anything else, right? Like I feel like when it comes to boards that are like 60%, 65% TKL, it's much more about like the construction and like the aesthetic and the case design and like the sound and stuff like that. But when it comes to 40s boards, it's all about like the actual true like comfortability of typing, the ergonomics, and like what works for you. It's so much more focused on layouts, and I've always found that pretty fascinating.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. It's more on usability for the individual rather than necessarily the masses or for, looks or sound or anything else. It's all about the usability for that particular person. It's really cool. The 40s Discord is actually a really fun place to hang out, and I do drop in there from time to time.
Yeah. All right. So he says Prime E slash Prime Elise, a couple of minivans, and my lovely Dimple Plus. Oh, and minivan. Okay.
Yeah, the two in the middle of the minivans. It's the
These two.
bottom two in the middle column, the very central board, and then the bottom one there, the minivan layout, I think.
So is the far right the dimple? Is that what that is?
Oh, maybe the one in the middle is not a minivan. The more I look at it, the one at the bottom definitely is. It looks, and that looks like a keyboard bell case, 3D printed keyboard bell
This one
case.
does. Yeah, definitely. Interesting.
Some interesting layout choices there, though. Oh, the middle one's a
Oh,
Romeo.
Romeo.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, okay.
I see. I see. Okay.
Also, a shout out for using Honeywell there as well. I like the DSA Honeywell. That's nice.
Yeah, Honeywell looks really good. I mean, Honeywell always looks good, but I really do appreciate it in the SP keycaps as well.
Yeah, I think it looks best with the centralized legends, the centered legends. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks a lot more like vintage. Like this, I feel like the centered legends are a lot more of like a throwback
Old school,
to
right?
yeah, like the
Yeah.
'70s, like the '80s. Big fan of that. DSS
Oh,
Honeywell, no DSA for me. Oh,
it's
this is
SS Honeywell, not DSA. Okay,
oh
it looked like
yeah, okay.
it looks like the
Now I see that. I see some sculpt on the row four. Okay, we weren't looking hard enough before.
apparently not. Apparently not.
That happens. Awesome, cool. Do you have any fun stories to go along with this static age, or pretty straightforward stuff here? Either way, totally fine. But we're always interested in hearing some of the stories because that kind of helps the foundation of our community, the
It does,
histories.
yeah.
Ooh, very nice.
Karcher, thank you very, very much for the 21-month streak. Thank you, dude. He says, good evening, all. Good evening, man. I hope you're having a great time wherever you are. I hope you're having a good day.
Glad to see you, Karcha. Thanks for stopping by. Doing a little show and tell, and if you have any boards you want to show off, let us know. Post a little picture link, and we can check it out. If you have a story to go along with it or some information, post that as well. That goes out to everyone in chat. So yeah, we're taking a look at some of Static Age's boards at the moment. Lots of 40s going on here. Lots of very interesting layouts. Very cool.
Yeah, there's some really cool layouts. Yeah. Yeah. Big fan. Big fan.
Cool. All right, I guess I'll
Okay. Well,
I'll show
I
off
guess
one
that
of.
means it's your turn, Brian.
I guess that
Yeah.
means it is my turn, and I'm gonna go through some of the boards that I've built recently. Actually, starting with what I believe is the most recent build I've done, which is the Box 75, which will be going to Jay in the very near future, who I'm sure will rebuild this as well to his own spec. But currently, I have an aluminum plate version here that has some of the Cherry Hyperglide blacks. So, spoiler alert, to me, they feel like MX Blacks. I don't really understand the difference. I gotta be honest. I still like them. I think they're fine. I think they sound quite lovely. But I don't understand the need for the Hyperglide rebranding, because at the end of the day, if someone put this and MX Black side by side, I don't think anyone would be able to tell the difference. That aside, this build came together pretty interestingly, and I know it was one that Jay and I were both super duper interested about because of this kind of foot system in particular, what kind of acoustics and feeling we'd be able to achieve here. Because it's a bit of a different design, and at the end of the day, I think it's maybe a little bit more, I don't know, open faced. I guess I think there's a lot you can do with this. And you can definitely get some very interesting feel and sound through this system, but I think it does take a little bit more fine-tuning than a lot of other boards, and that's still something I have
Okay.
yet to find the time to really kind of fine-tune this. Although I am pretty happy with the results that I got out of this, but this is a pretty interesting build. Again, Cherry Hyperglide Blacks. We have, speaking of Honeywell, we have GMK Honeywell on here.
I recognize that immediately.
I,
Yeah.
I should have used normal backspace because now that I look at this, I feel like 75% look very awkward with split backspace. But hey, you live and you learn. I'm going to be desoldering this before I send it to Jay anyways, so that's the way that goes. So this is my first show and tell items, and of course, guys, if you have questions about any of this, feel free to let us know. Any of this kind of stuff.
How do you feel about the foot system on it, Brian? Do you want to show us the foot system a little bit better and talk about that?
Sure, I can kind of try here. Anyone can check out the VOD of my build stream, and you can see this a little bit better. But the foot system's pretty interesting. So there's obviously all these accent bars that kind of go across it, and when you first kind of open it up, it's a little strange and intricate, and it feels a little overwhelming. But once you kind of get it all out and apart at once, you realize it's not quite that bad. And it's pretty interesting though. I don't even really have like words to describe it because it's so different. But at the end of the day, like it feels and sounds just like a keyboard should. It's not bad. It's pretty customizable, and yeah, I don't know. I'm not totally sold on the feet. I got to be honest. I think this board has a lot of like interesting aesthetic choices going on that I think are really cool. But it's not as complex as of like an actual keyboard as I thought it would be before I got it. So I wouldn't say I'm disappointed or let down by it, but I don't know. As a lot of you guys know, aesthetics are something I tend to not really care about anyways. The reason we asked for the prototype of the board is because we were curious how it felt and how it sounded, which are, to me, a lot more interesting than how a board looks. So I feel like this board, while it does look and feel pretty nice, and obviously there's a lot of options, I think this board is highly based on aesthetic, and that's certainly not a bad thing. But yeah, that's my thought on that.
Nice. I am really interested to give that a try when it comes over here and see what it's like. To use. Trojam says, does it need a hard surface though? Does it need to be on a hard surface, or does it work okay on your desk mats? Because I know we talked about it before the stream, and I know you covered it in the build stream, but we were both worried about how sharp those legs might be.
Yeah, so I know that was something that a lot of people were worried about, but it's honestly not a problem. So the production units are going to actually ship with I don't want to call them bump-ons per se, but it's going to be like effectively an adhesive bump-on or material that you're going to be able to put on the points of each of these, as well as down here where it meets your desk towards the front. So you're not going to actually have metal on desk contact or metal on desk pad contact unless you actually want it. With that said, all of these accents are hand finished, hand polished stainless steel, and the edges, it's hard to see on this camera, but the edges are actually fully chamfered as well. So this is actually a lot smoother than it looks. This glides around my desk on a desk mat, and even without a desk mat, it still slides around quite willingly. So I'm glad to see that the production models are going to be shipping with some kind of material down there, because I think it needs something to kind of keep it gripped down, I guess, if it were. But yeah, so I wouldn't worry about anything in terms of like scratching, because these are like honestly pretty smooth.
Nice. Kimchi Jody Boy did mention around the hyperglides. Hi Kimchi, good to see you, man. He says they have a modified leaf, a stock spring, and super minor changes to the internals. However, the end user experience is almost identical to the retools. IMO not worth in terms of price to performance. I have to be honest, I've only used the hyperglides in one build, and I didn't even stream that build, but my feelings are very similar to that. I don't think that there is enough of a difference that's tangible to the average user between a standard Cherry MX Black and the Hyperglides to justify the price difference. I think if you took it out to 99% of people and gave them two switch testers in a blind test and said which ones are Hyperglides and which ones are the standard MX Blacks, I don't think many people would be able to tell you the difference reliably or consistently.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I mean, not to sound egotistical, but I've always kind of fancied myself as someone that was really good at being able to tell the differences between like minor differences between switches in general. And there's no way, like, especially once they're lubed, and maybe you put some aftermarket springs in there, no one's telling the difference between these and any other everyday MX Black.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I feel like I'm quite good at telling the difference between switches as well. Like instantly when I touch a switch, I can tell whether it's tactile or linear. I think I've got a really good sense of touch for that.
Yeah. So agreed. Definitely not really worth the price, but I guess it depends on the price too. I think they're fine switches. If you like MX Blacks, you're gonna like these too, right? It's pretty much the same thing, but not always the cheapest.
Sure, sure. The Box 75 though looks great. Like
It does look
as
really
a board,
cool.
I think it looks fantastic. It's got that whole kind of retro but modernistic feel. It feels very 70s in its design and styling, and I really really like that. I'd like to see more from Lin Works okay, and this is the difference. It's not Lin as in the Lin as in everyone thinks of Lin. This is Lin Works different, completely different to the other Lin. Yeah, there's two Lins in the hobby.
The hobby is becoming a very confusing place. But that's okay. That's okay. Jay Chef, thank you so much for the 500 Jay's exceptional sense of touch bits.
I think Jay Schiff was the only person who got my joke a few minutes ago.
I think having exceptional sense of touch and bits in the same sentence, and Jay, I think is just that's a perfect sentence to begin with. I need to hear more sentences.
Very well crafted. Yeah.
Jay Chef's no fool. He knows what he's doing.
He knows exactly how to pass the line. Like everyone else would have failed to get that sentence past Twitch's terms of service, but Jay Chef, he knew what he was doing.
The man's a veteran. All right, the man's an absolute veteran of this. One final thought on the Box 75 though. After I did mine, I kind of went back and saw some typing tests, and I went through some streams of a couple other builders that did it, and I've got to say, I think the real winning choice is the white with the stainless steel accents. I think that was really the combo. No offense to the black and stainless steel version, but I really thought the white with the stainless steel just looked so sublime. And it might have just been because I was watching, a Teha type stream, and he has ridiculous quality, audio video quality, but
and everything.
Yeah, but man, I just really fell in love with that. I'm a big fan of the stainless steel with white. I just think it's such an amazing combination.
Nice.
All right. Let's go through. We'll take one more from chat, and then Jay will do his next, and then we'll take another from chat, and then I'll go back, and we'll just kind of keep going back and forth, guys. So again, show us some pictures. Share with us your keyboards and the stories along with them, good or bad, because either are interesting.
Yeah, 100%. I think the next one comes from Sprug, or Sprig, or Spurg, or Spurg, however you want to pronounce it.
I'm gonna open that up right now. Bam, here we go. So what do we...
So he does say that this is a Mechanisk Type X, and the wrist rest was gift. And he loved Static Ages 40s. Well, first thing, what a killer first build. What a killer first build. It's his first keyboard build with many to come. I mean, there's starting off the hobby in the right way, and they're starting off the hobby in the right way. And you've got a great first build there. Starting off with a Mechanist board, can't go wrong with that. You've got a good color in black. It goes with loads of things. You've got one of the most anticipated sets of the past few years on there in Olivia. And to get a wrist rest that beautiful as a gift, that looks like cast resin to me. That's really cool, man. Really, really cool.
Yeah, that is super awesome. I think the Type X is a supremely underrated board, as well as the Mechanist Clippa S, which a lot of people don't even realize exists. I really, really like those boards, so I have one here too. I'm not necessarily using this as show and tell, but I just wanted to show off that I have one too, because I don't know, maybe I'm just kind of egotistical. I don't know, but Type X, awesome first build. And I was just thinking about when you said that, Jay, like, obviously when we were new into the hobby, this would never be a first build, right? Like it wouldn't even exist, this kind of thing.
Yeah,
like you come in, you get a Filco, it had MX switches.
Yeah.
And like that was your first board.
Or even at the time, Kono had just run the White Fox for the first time as well. In fact, I don't even think it was Kono when it ran. I know it was the guys behind Kono, but I think it was before they even called themselves Kono that it was there.
Just Input Club, yeah.
Yeah, input. Yeah, just when it was just Input Club. Yeah, so that was the kind of thing that was going around then as the custom build. So to have something like this in the hobby is really cool.
Yeah, my
People
first
can
build
join and stuff
was
with this.
not nearly as fancy as this. So this is always fun to see. Also, I see you're also a true man of culture, and you have a flipped spacebar. So shout
So you
outs,
were going to talk
shout
about
outs.
the Mizu desk pad.
The Mizu desk pad's really good too. That was desk pad of the year, right, on the last Mech Madness.
Yeah, desk pad and keycap set of the year. Yeah.
Yeah, flip spacebar, great desk pad, great board. We love to see that coiled cable and everything. This is man, and but what I was getting at is I wonder if it's like just kind of I don't want to use the term generational because obviously that implies like a lot more time, but it almost feels right like nowadays when someone enters the keyboard hobby, this maybe isn't necessarily like a totally uncommon kind of thing, right? Like most people are coming into the keyboard hobby, a lot of them are getting pretty high caliber boards, all things considered.
Yeah.
A very stark difference from how it used to be back in the old days, which
I,
is
I agree.
it's cool to
I
see
I
that.
wonder I wonder something here. I wonder if when I joined the hobby, if it was as easy to get a board to the level of quality in this picture from Spurg as it is now. And I know it's not definitely the easiest thing to do, but it's comparatively easy compared to when we joined the hobby. There's much more choice around now. Would I have got as deep into the hobby if that was if that was my first build? Because I'll be quite frank, I could live with that as a build every day now. If someone put that
Sure.
board on my desk, I would be completely satisfied. I know I have other boards and I know I have a bit of a collection, whatever else, but that is a solid combination. For 99% of people, that's a really solid combination.
It's just it's interesting to me to like reminisce about this because like having a high profile metal custom keyboard with I
Yeah.
don't know what switches are in here, but presumably it's something relatively nice and decent. And GMK caps, like an epic wrist rest, a coiled custom cable that like nobody would be able to. This was a really high caliber build, 6-7 years ago.
Yeah. And if I'd have had that 7 years ago, would I have got in as deep into the hobby as I did? And I don't know, man. I
That's an
don't know. I
interesting
might have
thought.
just left it there. If that had been my first build, knowing what I know now, I might never have got into the hobby as the way I did. I don't know.
That would be a really interesting statistic to try to find out is like what people start on versus how long they're in the hobby and like how they interpret the hobby. I feel like that'd be a really interesting thing to explore.
Yeah, we should do a round table. Get some veteran keyboard names and do a round table and ask that exact question. Uh, that's what we should do. That should be a stream. One day we should do that stream.
Yes, I agree. Oh, speaking of the Type X, we have Mechanisk in chat. So great to have you, Leandrin. Thanks for stopping by and shout out to you and congrats for the store launch, the store relaunch, as it were. Good stuff. So yeah, awesome. Type X, GMK Olivia. This is some fancy stuff, man. I can't imagine coming into the hobby. It's weird, like GMK in particular. Like GMK was reserved only for the most elite keyboard enthusiasts, and now literally everyone has a
Right?
GMK set on their keyboard. It's become so common and so accessible, and that's really interesting as well. Keyboard
Yeah,
history.
I think so.
Keyboard history.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we have a few more rolling in the chat too, which is good. We're going to be getting to these one at a time. Well, what do you got next for us, Jay?
Well, I'm just gonna save some of these posts because if I don't copy and paste some of these out of chat, we might lose them. So I'm just gonna put a couple of these in our news doc, just under keyboard news,
Sure.
and then I will share the next one. They don't paste in particularly well when I've done that.
That's all right. I'm going to try to keep my place in chat, so it should be all right as well.
Okay. I'll paste them anyway, just in case we've got them. My next one is actually something that came in this past week. And I'm going to show you the box first because I love to look at vintage stuff. So this is kind of like me in a nutshell. Vintage
Ooh.
cherry keyboards. And what makes this one so special, where's the label on it? In fact, I don't think it has the label on. Okay, so the label's actually covered up with another label. So normally they have a label on the side that tells you what's in it, but the label's covered up with another label, so I can't show the label I want to show, because it's covered with another label. But this is a really cool keyboard. It still comes with the original pristine user manual. Look how neat and tidy that is.
Wow. That is
And
cherry, no pun intended.
it is, yeah. And even back when this was produced, you won't be able to read this. You'll have to take my word for it. But it's printed on recycled paper, which is really cool. I like to see that.
Nice, nice. Do we
Um,
have a date of production, a year here for this board?
1992, I think, but I'd have to double check that. It's not a really old one. It's a relatively new one, all things considered. But the really cool thing about this is, as he tries to open it because he forgot the box is open this way, this is a brand new in box. You can still see it's got the cable in the plastic wrap here. UK ISO dice board. This has never been typed on. This is brand spanking new. It's got UK ISO die subs. It's a G81 3100. SPBGB is the code on the back, which means it's the S stands for the die subs, the sublimation. The PB is the type of switch that it's on it, and then the GB is the language, which is Great Britain. So this is brand new UK ISO die subs. I already had a few sets of these die subs, but I didn't have any as in good a condition for this. There is no yellowing on it. This has never been typed on. It is just mint condition. It's brand new and it's amazing, and I love it to bits.
That is glorious. New in box for almost what? It's almost 30 years old.
Yeah, new
New
inbox,
new in box.
never touched.
That
30
is.
years old.
How did you
It's cool,
find
right?
that? That is quite a pickup.
Yeah, I just through speaking to people and people knowing that I like this kind of thing. Um, but the fact that it comes with the booklet, it's still in the box, the original box, and everything else, it's just my thing. And this is part of a wider collection. So one of the things I'm trying to do is I'm trying to collect both the double shot and the dice of OG cherry keycaps for as many European languages as I can. So I've got UK double shots from before GMK when this was cherry, and I've got UK die subs. I've got French double shots and French die subs. I've got Belgian double shots and Belgian die subs, and so on and so forth. I'm trying to collect as many different of the EU languages in both as I can do. Some I only have in double shot, some I only have in die sub, but I'm trying to collect all in both.
That is epic, man. I feel like the longer I'm in this hobby, the more interesting the vintage stuff becomes to me. And I guess that's probably normal, but like at meetups I've noticed that I don't really care about like the actual cool modern customs, and they're awesome, sure, but what always draws my attention at a meetup is like a really cool condition vintage board I've never seen before. And there are a
Sure.
lot of them because I'm not super versed in a lot of the vintage keyboards. So it's always interesting to me to kind of feel and hear, listen and kind of observe all this like keyboard history. Like this is where we came from with mechanical keyboards, and
Yeah,
to kind of
these are the
compare it to
keyboards
where
that
we
people
are.
used in the 60s and 70s that gave rise to our generation that wants to use keyboards that are mechanical now, right?
Yeah,
If they hadn't have done those experiments back then and made the products they did back then, we wouldn't have this hobby today. And it's really cool for me. And a lot of the stuff that I work on that's modernized, like the JO1 and the JO2, for example, they're all 100%. The inspiration for them comes from vintage keyboards, whether it's the pen rail that you want to look at, or the side profiles, or the way it's designed in terms of layouts, and looking at macro keys and having those, the OG macro columns on the left hand side, all of that kind of stuff, the XT clusters. Vintage boards inspire me a lot more than what modern stuff does.
yeah, yeah. I completely agree. All right, we're gonna check out something of Karcha's. He says, "Show and tell, eh? It would only be fitting to show what happened to the Exent I won from the Top Clack 3-year anniversary competition." All right,
Oh
so
wow,
that was a
yeah,
while back. Yeah, it was first ported to QMK by Merlin. Then Jay and James provided the fixed ISO carbon fiber plate. Nice, we love to hear
yeah. I
that.
remember doing that for him. Yeah,
All right,
yeah,
he sent a couple links here, so I'm gonna open these real quick. Will always be one of my favorite boards, and I am thankful. Awesome. Glad that we're always happy to see like anything that we've given away like actually put to good use. That's That's something that's awesome. Let me swap over so you guys can see what we're looking at here. So bam, there you go.
Oh man, it looks good with
That's the
those keycaps on.
Exempt. Yeah, that does look really nice.
Is
Oof.
that a mix of Ski Data and Honeywell? Is that what it is? It looks like Ski Data mods.
I'm not
Honeywell
sure. Well,
keycap. Honeywell
hopefully,
alphas,
maybe
right?
Karch is still in chat and he can give us a quick rundown of the keycaps used here.
Or maybe it's Oblivion Hagorama white alphas. It could be one of the two.
Okay. He says
Yeah.
it's carbon, but weird lighting. Okay. I was gonna
Ooh,
guess
okay,
carbon, but
okay.
it looked a little off to me as well.
Yeah, it didn't look like the carbon was not my first thought when I looked at that. But okay, yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah. Man, gorgeous board though. The Exempt, that's a board that has a lot of history to it.
Yeah,
It was one of the first real big, enormous collaborations among the
yeah.
community. I mean,
Well, I have mine here. I don't know if you'll be able to see this on camera, but it actually has originative.co, Rama, TGR, and I can't remember who the other one was. I have to look at it.
a Scenic, I think,
Uh,
or
yeah,
something similar.
Ascenic, yeah. Yeah, but it actually has all of the names of the makers and designers on the rear of the board. But this is my version of the Exent.
Yeah, this was a big deal when it came out, and I feel like a lot of people have never even heard of this board, but this was a really big deal. This was
It's a huge collaboration.
when Rama was still kind of up and coming. Originative was still like one of the big vendors of the community, one that commanded much more respect. This was kind of before the times of Novel Keys, for example, or when Novel Keys was kind of just first starting.
Yeah,
The group buy had some issues. Some of the production units had some issues, but overall, it's a board that has a lot of character, which I've always really appreciated. So very
yeah.
cool.
I've had my Exent for a few years now. I actually my board didn't have any issues with the base or the long bar across the bottom of the foot that some boards had, but it did have some issues with the anodization on top. So I actually had it Cerakoted by Tyson when Tyson used to run his
Hmm.
Cerakote service. So he had that Cerakoted for me.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. What switches are in this board, Karcha? I'm always curious to know what the build is comprised of.
I'm gonna. Ooh, are they inks in the
You're gonna
first picture they
guess.
shared?
Can you see? I guess you can kind of.
There was two links that he posted. The first link is
Oh, was
a
it?
nude shot where you can see the carbon fiber plate.
Let's open this real quick. Oh yes, okay. Very cool. That does appear to be inks. Carbon fiber too. Very nice. I've really been enjoying
Yeah,
carbon
it looks
fiber more
great.
lately.
I'm a big fan of carbon fiber plates. Yeah.
Nice, nice. All right, let's go ahead and I'm gonna queue up the next one. Though I'm going to show off one of my boards. All right, let me unplug it real quick. I'm gonna be showing off one of my recent builds, the Tinned, just because I've been loving it so much, and I keep trying to swap it out for other boards. I'm like, hey, it's been a week or two. Let me swap to something else, and then I just swap back to this the next day, man. I've been I've been really loving the Tinned. I have GMK Noel on there right now. I have some lavender switches in here, the Duroc lavenders. Absolutely love them. This board feels great. It sounds great. It looks great. And I took some nice snowy pictures of this board a few weeks back when we had a lot more snow out here before it all melted and I got sad. But man, the Tinned is just, this board has a lot of history as well. I mean, it's gone through so many revisions, so many different mounting changes, a name
Yeah.
change. It was formerly the Fiel Pro, first teased 4 years ago. I think it was 2017, not too long after the original launch of the Fiel, the board that kind of started it all for Mechanisk or Leandrin. Mechanisk came later, even the name. So there's a ton of history here, and it's really awesome to see a board that I've wanted so much for so many years, and and it's kept up with the times which I've always thought was really interesting because, at the time it was supposed to just be a very simple two-piece top-mount board, like all other super high-level customs at the time. That's what it meant to be, like a nice custom keyboard. You had a top-mount plate, you had a two-piece case, and it looked, elegant. That was the pinnacle of keyboards, 4, 5, 6 years ago. Nowadays it's much more modern. It's sleeker. It has it has a gasket mount system. The plate has a lot more thought behind it. It's evolved so much, but it's still kind of kept that nice, classic, elegant mechanics feel. And I really love this board. I love this board. I love this build. Some people told me not to put Noel on it because it might not look good. I don't care. I think it looks amazing.
Great.
I think it looks really good.
It looks great. What are they on about?
I
The
don't
fact
know.
that I didn't realize you could do Noel without any of the pink accents. I think that looks fantastic just the way it is there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you guys know me. I'm kind of boring. I'm not really an accent kind of guy. So I tend to veer away from that, but I just think this looks so good, man. So good. And I just keep going back to it. And this board just has so much. Not only is it an amazing board, but for me personally, it has so much emotion behind it. Leandrin over at Mechanics has been a good friend of mine for a while now, and we've had the pleasure of getting much closer to each other, in the recent years, and we've talked a lot, and just knowing more about him really kind of helps shape the way I feel about a lot of products of his, and I think that's really awesome because that's kind of what the community is all about to me. It's not about like super fancy keyboards. It's the actual people, the feelings, the emotion behind a lot of this stuff that we often take for granted or don't even consider. But when you use a product, when you receive a product and you unbox it, and you really start to get the feel for what it is, and when you actually put some thought into that, I think the hobby becomes a much more positive and interesting place than just metal and plastic.
100% agree. And do you know what? I'm still really sad that we couldn't end up posting our build stream, our dual build stream of the tins in any meaningful way, and that we lost a lot of the audio for that, because that was such a good stream, having
That
Leandrin
was
on and building the boards together. And yeah, I thoroughly
Yeah.
enjoyed that. And I have my tinned as well, and it's got Delta on it, which is probably a little bit more of a bolder choice than yours. But I think Noel looks really good. And
Yeah.
it looks really, really nice.
I'm gonna actually I'm gonna bring up a picture that I'm kind of proud of, even though it's not a particularly amazing picture, but I just want to show it off of this board, since showing it off on stream doesn't really do it quite as much justice as you can imagine. So let me just navigate real quick and bear with me. But yeah, this board, it's just too good, man. It's just too good.
It's a really good board.
Okay, now I can't find this picture.
I
guess
guess it was the way, isn't it?
I guess
It's
I
always
didn't.
the way.
I thought it was something that I uploaded to Imgur, but apparently I didn't. So I'm kind of sad about that. I know I posted it in the Discord, but oh well. Such is life. But yeah, that stream, that stream was amazing. It was honestly one of the best streams we've done in a while, and we had Leandrin there. It was a really good time. We had a lot of backstory, we had a lot of information, we had some good conversation, and we built some amazing boards. And then Twitch decided to make the VOD basically unwatchable, which is very big sad. And I really regret not recording that alongside it, because maybe I could have salvaged that somehow, and that is my fault. But life goes on, I guess, and we'll try to rectify that in the future. We can do something else really cool. Tomorrow's another day, right?
100%. Yep. And I know we've got some dual build streams planned that are going to come soon. We're going to do dual Dollinger build stream at some point in the near future, guys. I sent half of the stuff needed over to Brian to do that, so we're going to do dual Dollinger build soon.
While it's fresh on my mind, should we do a dual Evolve stream as well?
Oh, we could actually. We could, yeah, because we'll both have Evolves here now. Both have Evolves here now. Yeah, we could absolutely do that.
That's what I need to build
if
next.
Nathan is down to that, to do it, we could get Nathan on as well and see if we can. We'll test it before we go live, but we'll see if we can have all three of us on as well. That'd be really fun.
Yeah, no, that would be amazing. I don't know if Nathan's still in chat. If you are, definitely let us know if you'd be down for coming on for that. Because yeah, when we did it with Leandrin with the Tind, it was amazing. It was a really cool experience to kind of have someone there that knows all about the product, kind of just talking us through it and giving all the info and history to us. It was really good time. And I think that's like a format I think that would be really awesome to start using going forward. I mean, it's nice to watch people build things, but obviously we don't always have the whole story or all the
Ooh,
information. So
very nice.
when you have someone there that like that, I think it works out a lot better.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree.
Quick shout out to King Tasma, who resubs for 2 months. Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that, dude. Appreciate that.
All right, I'm gonna find the next build in chat here. Just give me a moment, guys. The last one was Karcha, and now we'll do Curious Yellow, who shares an Imgur link here. He says, "My first build, built by Norit MTG, a CF TKB Mysterium with a little custom graphic on one of the acrylic layers." All right, so let me open this up real quick and show you guys.
Ooh, really nice. Two things that jump out at me from that picture as soon as I look at it. One, first of all, the custom graphic. Is that the Iron Giant? Is that from the film The Iron Giant? Is that what it's from? Curious Yellow? Let me know. And the other thing that really is hurting my eyes a little bit is the fact that your Q key is turned a little bit round. Other than that, the build looks exceptional. Yeah, the soldering looks really neat and tidy. I love the look of it up there. I like the fact that you've got the nice cable coming out the back of it. The keycaps work really well for it as well. There's something to be said for DSA on stacked acrylic cases, I think.
I love that, and even though DSA isn't my favorite thing to use, I actually do really like the way it looks, and I almost wonder if that Q key is intentional.
But it's my OCD is slightly getting to me, and it's slightly frustrating me. Is that I couldn't look at that. Like if that was on my desk, I would have to fix it immediately. I couldn't leave it like that. But the little Iron Giant logo, it looks really cool. That's really nicely done. Very impressive.
Yeah, that is super cool. Pretty clean soldering too. You're right. Not bad.
Yeah, the soldering looks really good. It looks really nice and neat and tidy. I think it's because it's through all the soldering is underneath by the looks of it, which means it looks really neat and tidy. It looks good though. I like it a lot.
Heck yeah. Very cool. Thanks for sharing. Appreciate that. All right. Should we still have a few more of these to go through as well. Okay.
Yeah, let's do a couple more from chat. Let's do a couple more from chat before we get onto any of our other items.
Yeah, and feel free if you have anything to share, guys. We'll try to. I don't know if we'll be able to get to everyone that shares, but we'll try to get to quite a few of them. So if you want to share an Imgur link and a little bit of a story or some information behind the board, let us know. But cool, yeah, very cool. Mysterium.
I think the next one comes from Trey Pop.
Trey Pop. Yes, here we go. I need to switch back views so I don't. Not that I don't trust Trey Pop, but obviously we gotta protect ourselves on streams here.
It's okay. It's good. I've already had a look. It's good. It's fine.
All right, you have. Okay, here we go. All right, so
you can trust me.
I trust you with my life, Jay. Trey Pop says, "My first custom keyboard was a custom designed full case board with a big ass enter support in a sandwich case. It was a nightmare to make because I know nothing about PCB design. Old picture, didn't have 6.25U spacebar at the time." So this is so I've seen stuff like this before. This is like true DIY. Like really kind of old school stuff here. And I almost wonder
cool for that. It's cool for that.
Yeah, I'm really surprised you actually went the PCB route and designed a PCB. I think that's a really cool thing to go through. But I am interested to think that maybe you could have hand wired this too, just because it's kind of a throwback. I remember a lot of people used to use these skeleton cases where it's effectively a top piece of material, and then you have a bottom piece of material, and then as you can kind of see on the edges here, it's screwed together with a bolt and a couple nuts, and you use plate mount stabilizers here.
On this as well, you can actually see the bolts coming through. They stand proud of the board. It's pretty cool. I like this a lot.
Yeah, and obviously you could have went with shorter bolts here, but it's almost more interesting to see that you didn't, just because I've also had boards like this years and years ago that were very DIY heavy. Like hand-wired kind of things, and this is kind of like a throwback to me. These skeleton boards that used to be so popular that you just don't ever see anymore these days.
Yeah, no one does this anymore. It's really cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Even down to the little things like the fact that the pipe key next to the right shift is a different keycap entirely. It's from some completely different set. the little things like that, it just shows just how handmade it is and how much effort's gone into it to make it and how DIY it is. I like that a lot. That's really cool. That's
Yeah,
one of the
and
things that even if you don't use it, you just keep it and cherish it, right?
exactly. And this is one of those boards I think a lot of newer keyboard enthusiasts might look at and be like, "What the heck is that? That looks dumb. I would never use that." But you got to realize that something that's like built from the ground up by you is like as DIY as it gets, right? Like when you're doing all of this, that's DIY. And it might look goofy, it might look, budget, it might look silly, but there's soul in this kind of product, in this board. You put a lot of time, you put a lot of effort, your own blood, sweat, and tears, and it really changes the way you can kind of perceive a keyboard, for example. So very cool. Thank you so
Sure.
much, Trey Pop, for sharing that. That's really cool. Love to see that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
and as James says in chat, kudos for Big Ass Enter as well. That is cool. Yeah.
Kudos for Big Ass Enter. What is this like shift situation? It's like a 175 shift kind of, but it's to the right instead of to the left under the enter. Very,
Yeah,
very,
yeah.
very interesting. These caps, what are these caps from? This has to be from like a razor board or something because it has
They look like it. Yeah.
look at this bottom row here. You have 125 1.5. I'm pretty sure I've seen that on razor boards before on this right side. Very, very, very different.
Yep.
But that's
But hey, it works and it looks interesting. And hey, if it works, if the zombie apocalypse happens tomorrow, Trey Pop is going to be able to build a board to be able to use to communicate with whoever he needs to. Right? He's not going to need to find a superstore that sells keyboards. He can just make one in his garage, out of in a cave with a box of scraps. Right? That's all he needs.
Yeah, you heard it here first, folks. Zombie apocalypse. Jay highly endorses keyboard building skills.
Yep.
And I
100%.
and I fully
It will be a needed skill.
fully agree. I love it. That's good stuff. All right, let's scroll back and we'll catch up with chat a little bit as well because I've been neglecting it. I got to be honest. Sean's said, I gotta hand it to Top Clack. So many people have helped me. Brian has helped me so much with getting my first board, to Nathan being moral support, and Petrov being like a dad to me. That's great to hear, man. That's the kind of stuff we like to hear. Petrov feels kind of like a dad to everyone. He's a community father figure.
He is, right? He is 100%.
That's good stuff. Let me catch up just a little bit here, guys. All right. Do you wanna show us your next one, Jay, before we move on to the next one in chat?
I can do, yeah. My next one is a thing and not a keyboard.
A thing,
Um,
okay.
It's a thing, and this was actually sent as a gift this week. I was gonna buy this off them, and they sent it to me as a gift. And that was really, really nice of them, and it is more than I ever deserve. So thank you very, very much to Future Crime. I'll give him a call out. He probably isn't watching, but Future Crime, thank you very much for that. And he sent me the official vinyl album of Mr. Nathan Kim himself's typing sounds. This is a vinyl record that you can play on a record player. It's completely sealed. This is the limited edition as well. This is the clear vinyl records. The vinyl record isn't actually black in color like a lot of vinyl records are. This is actually clear. But I'm not opening it. I don't want to open it. And he sent this with a nice little handwritten note on the front that says maximum volume mandatory. So there you go. But this is, I think this is like an hour and 45 minutes or something of typing sounds on an LP.
That's awesome.
So yeah.
I like the sticky note on the front.
Yeah, well, I don't
Maximum
want to
volume
off, like,
mandatory.
that was there when I opened it. That's how he sent it to me. But just to give you some examples of some of the tracks that you can hear on this, you can hear on side one, the very first thing that you can hear is an Apple M0110A, which was made from 1986 to 1990 in a plastic case with Mitsumi Malaysian switches, a steel plate, and PBT keycaps. Taking a little bit further, back to Mechanisk, you can also hear a Mechanisk Fial built for Apex Legends professional player NRG Dizzy in 2019 with an aluminium case, some Holy Panda switches, a brass plate, and some GMK ABS keycaps. That's just two of the fantastic hits that you can hear on this.
I love calling them fantastic hits. The idea of having like a typing sounds be a song, I think is kind of a wonderful. I don't want to call it a meme, but it's whatever like the better version of a meme is.
It is. It's cool. And there's a whole raft of text on the back here as well, which is kind of like an introduction to The Scene by Future Crimes, which where he's talked about. He's almost likened the mechanical keyboards to like the underground grime scene in London, or like the '70s hip hop scene, and all of that kind of stuff. And he actually has written a whole article that talks about it in that kind of way. So just to give you an excerpt, it says one of the sentences here. It says the granddaddy of them all is the DK Saver, followed soon after by the legendary On the Desk series of keyboards, the ones named after sports cars. These keyboard kits were made in very small numbers and sold to mates and online acquaintances only. Since then, the hobby has grown and spread worldwide. And it just goes on. There's more and more and more. I mean, it's all written in that kind of whole sense of style that you might see on a 1970s record. And this is just the epitome of cool for me. This is one of those things that even if I never open it, even if I never play it, it's just a nice thing to own and a nice thing to have.
I feel like it's one of those things that like I would try to get two of. One to kind of keep sealed as a collector's item, and one to actually kind of use because it's a really
Sure.
cool thing to show people, right? Because a normal person is gonna look at that or hear that and be like, "All right, what?" But like within the community, there's so much. Like that's such a cool item. It's super cool. It really is, and it's like it really goes to show you the passion that some people have. That's good
Absolutely,
stuff.
100%. It's just really nice to share.
I love that. Don Bros Flow is saying, "What is this?" This is a little bit of a show and tell stream, where we're showing off some of our stuff, and chat is showing off some of their stuff, and we're learning about the history behind some of this stuff, and it's just a fun, casual, happy time. Hopefully for you guys as well.
Should we do a couple more from chat? I think there's quite a few in there now.
Yeah, there's a few. Yeah, the next one is going to come from. Let me make sure I get this right, guys.
Stray Pop was the last one.
This one's going to be I'm Bay Max, I believe, unless I missed one. This is keeping up with the links is a little bit more challenging than I thought it was going to be.
Oh,
no,
Curious Yellow did a second one as well. Curious Yellow also posted a Discipline 65, which was his second build after his Mysterium that he showed with us earlier on. So he did that as well.
I think I found the next one. The next one, I believe, is coming from Godders, and he says, "Here's the low-profile corn I finished building last week. I stayed up super late with the guys on the Low Pro Discord, playing with keycap color gradients, and settled on this." So let me go ahead and show you guys this as well. This is another really interesting board. The corn, very small, split, kind of ergonomic type design. Very much the soul of the kind of 40s Discord.
I love the sense of style here, like with the way that the keycaps have the different colors to them and the different gradients and stuff like that. I like that. I think that looks really good.
This
that
is
looks
super
really
cool.
Really good.
I really love this this custom TRRS cable.
Yeah, how meaty is that cable? It looks really cool.
This is really pretty. I'm a big fan of that. Thank you so much for sharing, Godders. Super cool stuff.
Yeah, that's really cool. That is really cool. I like the fact that it's got the little LED displays on there as well. Like, you can have so much fun with those. I saw someone the other week, they'd actually put like a Tetris game on them. Yeah, so I don't know how they managed to do that, but there was like a little Tetris game or Tetris style game that you could play on those little LCD screens, which is pretty cool.
That's awesome, man. It would take me so long to adapt to a board like this, but mad respect to all the people that can daily drive this kind of setup.
Yeah, I think I would struggle if I'm honest. I do have a corn somewhere, actually. I do have a corn. I think it has an acrylic case with it, though. It's not as bare bones as this, but I think I prefer the look of this. Just the whole bare bones kind of PCB and keycaps, and
it almost looks better
with
this
some
way,
low pro
right?
switches.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let me swap back to make sure this next one is vetted a bit. So this one is going to be coming from iBaymax, who says, "My keyboard." So we don't have any information about this, unfortunately, but we can probably surmise some things at the very least.
Well, he does post something later on, but you tell me what you think it is, Brian, and I will correct you or tell you from what he said later on in chat.
Is this the Think 65?
Yep.
Okay. Um, that's about all I'm getting from this. It looks like a 9009 kind of colorway, but maybe PBT.
He doesn't say whether it's PBT or not, but I suspect it is just going by
Just based
the
on some of the
legends. I
legends,
think it
yeah.
is. I think you're right. I think there's legends on there that weren't on the GMK
You can
versions.
almost just
Um,
the legends are slightly fuzzy, not necessarily in a bad way, but just very reminiscent of the way PBT legends look.
do you know what one I was going by? I was going by the option key to the right of spacebar because it's got the sub legend on it. The
Oh,
tertiary legend at the top.
I didn't even
That's
see
never been
that.
done on GMK.
Yeah, I didn't even see that. Yeah.
Okay, and do you want to guess at which switches he's got in there?
Uh-oh. This is am I going to be really taken aback here? Um
Really? I don't think you'll get it right because there's too many switches these days. But like, I just thought it'd be fun for you to have a guess.
I mean, I don't know. I'll say it's probably something JWK. I think that's probably a fair
Yep.
bet. But there's so many
Yep.
JWK switches, right? So it's tangerines. I'll go with tangerines. That's a pretty popular one.
Moss switches.
Moss switch. What's I don't even know what a
Yeah.
moss switch is. Is that
I'm not,
JWK?
I'm not sure either. They are JWK, yeah. They're a
Okay.
JWK blue color, yeah. I can't remember exactly what they look like, but yeah, most
Okay.
switches are in there.
If it's a JWK linear, I probably wasn't too far off at least. Like it probably feels relatively similar.
For sure, for sure. It's a good looking build though. I think that looks great. The 9009 works with the E white. It looks good with the Think V2 logo up there in the top right hand corner with the blue light lighting up the electricity. I think it looks nice. It's a great board.
Yeah, I have no issues with that. I've never built or used a Think 65 though, so I have no idea
Okay.
how this kind of board will feel or sound. But
I've only built a V1. I haven't built a V2, so I haven't used one of these boards.
gotcha. All right, cool. Well, very, very nice. Thank you very much for sharing. Appreciate that. Next up, lots of people sharing now. Cool, very cool. Mart is saying, I got into the hobby around Christmas 2020, and here are the 3 boards I brought from my first board. Wait, I'm sorry. From my first board to the first board I built myself. All right, let me.
Nice. You can open this. It's safe.
Oh, all right. Well, I've already kind of switched back out of habit, but let's go back right here. All right, very nice. All right, so what do we have here? This is quite a collection already. We're starting off with the F1 8X, so this we already know we're going places here.
Yep.
Very, very cool.
The first high end board I built myself, Pom Linears Milmaxed on an F1 8X. That is such a good board. Like I'm using my F1 at the minute still. Like it hasn't left my desk since I built it. I'm such a fan of that board. Yeah, that's a really good looking board. I'll give you like a quarter of a point discount on it though. I'm afraid, Mark, because it's not wing keyless. The wing keyless is slightly nicer, but it's a beautiful board. Nonetheless, it's a really nice board. And shout out to him for using the Sour desk mat as well. Sour, if you're still watching, man, I saw you there earlier on. There's one of your desk mats being wrapped live on stream.
Very nice. I appreciate Sour's work more and more, like every time I see it.
Yeah, I'm using the blue version of that desk mat right now on my desk actually.
All right, let's see what this is. It says my first board's entering the hobby. I bought both around the same time. I bought Mode 80 OA switches and KFE CE Lavenders Milmax. He's a fan of the Milmaxing.
Nice, yeah, and that's Froyo on the Mode 80 as well. Nice.
Yep, that's an interesting set you don't see too often. Very cool.
But it's got some great novelties, great text novelties on it.
Yeah, and Lavenders on the KFE as well.
If he's a great board,
very, very pretty.
Yeah. I'm hoping to get to build one at some point because I never bought a KFE and I've seen a few people with them and I'd love to build one and just get my hands on one for an hour or two.
So this gentleman got in the hobby Christmas 2020. So we'll say 4 months ago.
And he's already 3 high-end builds into it.
And he already has the Mode 80, a KFE CE, and the Geonworks F1 8X. That is.
Wow.
Remember earlier when we were talking about entering the hobby and like what you would start out with, and we were talking about like perception. Like, where do you go from here? Like, where do you
buy a J board?
Where do you?
I'm joking. I'm
Wow.
joking.
I
I'm
like it. I
joking.
like it.
No,
I like it.
but really, I mean, where do you go from here? If you want to go higher end, you've got Key Cult, you've got TGR, and very little else at that kind of
I
top
mean,
tier level. That KP is
yeah.
so nice.
Yeah, this is quite a way to enter the hobby.
See, the
My
thing is as well,
gosh.
he's also got another little board to the left here. I'm really interested in, which looks like it's a stacked acrylic case. But are they MDA caps? I can't tell from here. I can't tell. What's that
Those
little
are,
board? That's the one I'm interested in. What's this cute little thing you've got going on, Mark? What's that?
I
Tell us
think
more about that one.
this might be XDA, but
Is it
it could
XDA?
be
I can't tell.
MDA as well. I'm not entirely sure. It looks like, well, I mean, it's a well, why can't I think of the term? Ortholinear. Wow, I can't. How did that slip my mind? It's an ortholinear board, and judging by the 5 rows, it's a preonic, or it might be like a split kind of preonic affair. Let us know if you're still in chat.
It's a switch tester. It's
Oh, it's a
just a
switch
switch
tester.
tester
Oh,
with
okay.
keycaps on.
We're
But they did that XDA. You were right. It's XDA.
we're really overthinking that one, Jay.
I know. I thought it was a keyboard. I'm like,
I thought it was too.
and while you were talking, I was like, I can't see a PCB. Is that hand wired? And I was getting really interested. But yeah, it's just a switch tester.
What are these keycaps on the F18X? These are some interesting caps. These are enormous mod legends. I've never seen.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen this set before.
Is that the Mode 80 keycap set? Because Mode did a keycap set themselves, didn't they? It looks like it could be that.
I guess it could be. Yeah.
I'm not
I
sure.
don't know. I don't know. Really cool though. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, that's really cool. Should we keep doing a few more from chat? Because I'm conscious that
Yeah.
we've only got one thing each left to share, and there's still loads and loads of people sharing in chat. So I think we should do a few more from
Yeah,
chat.
yeah. We'll definitely do a few more from chat. Thank you guys for submitting these, by the way. Appreciate that. Next one looks like it comes from Japanitrat. Says, my first keyboard that I put hole tights on. I made my first YouTube video on the process of adding hole tights, and I still get comments on it, mostly because of my voice, which sounds like I'm dying, according to commenters. Oh no.
You need to post the link to the video so I can watch it later on. Dude.
Now we're curious. Now we need to know. We need to know what you're sounding like here. All right, so let me swap over here, and yeah, let's take a look at
This board's a blast from the past.
Is this a? It is a B face. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. All right. How cool is that?
This was like the hotness when I was coming into the community too. Like this was the custom that you got. You got a B face. Shout out to Hojin at winkeyless.kr.
Yep.
My God, yeah. This was cool. This was cool. This was one of the first customs that I used. This is a really cool treat. I mean, by today's standards, it's not that interesting, right? It's a stacked acrylic case.
It was one of those boards that kind of kicked off the whole community, right? It was one of those boards that was there right back in the day, like 2015.
Yeah. This is pretty interesting. So it has Zelios. He has SA ice caps with some SA 1976 accents. Cool. SA ice caps, very interesting. So he's actually mixing PBT and ABS here because SA ice cap are one of the few PBT
Dysa
SA sets
PBT
from
caps,
Signature Plastics. So very, very cool. I think this looks stellar, and this is, again, like Jay said, this is kind of like a blast from the past for us, which I always really appreciate. B faces are a really, really fun board, and honestly, like it might not look like much by today's standards, but these boards really felt and sounded really, really cool.
They were really cool, yeah.
When you have a stacked acrylic case like that, it's just unlike anything else. You get so much thock because of all that layered plastic. It's so cool. Do you remember Bootmapper Client? These PCBs?
That was the worst thing about the hobby back then.
See, nowadays...
My word, those two were bad.
Nowadays, QMK is so universal, right? It's so easy, it's so accessible. Like, even dumb people like me can just go on the configurator and make my own layout and flash it, and it's not a problem. It's super easy, but that didn't used to be the case. That's actually much more recent. QMK was, at this point in time, was much more the elite level stuff. Like, you had to really know what you were doing to program your keyboard.
Yeah, you had to do a whole native install on your system to get QMK working.
There was an entire environment.
It might might have even been
environment.
TMK at the time these boards came out. It could have even been as old as TMK. But yeah, it's really cool. The other cool thing about this as well is the cable that it's actually hand wrapped in what looks like some sort of duct tape. He's just hand wrapped it in masking tape or something. That's really cool. I like that a
I
lot as
didn't
well.
notice that. That's amazing. That's amazing. But Bootmapper client was the solution to like the usability of QMK. It wasn't based on QMK, but it was a really, at the time at least, easy to use system. It's definitely not as easy as something like VIA, but in comparison to how QMK used to be, Bootmapper client was the shit, for lack of a better term. It was awesome. It was something, noobs like me could use, but nowadays it's pretty much obsolete, and VIA is kind of the king at the moment. But really
Yeah,
cool.
for sure.
Love to see stuff like
That's
this.
a really cool build.
Yeah,
That's a really cool build. I'd be proud of that if I still had it. If I still had one of those boards.
awesome. Japanitrat also actually posts the video too.
Nice. I'm gonna save that and watch it later.
Okay, yeah, cool. Send that to me too, because I'm not gonna play it on stream, just for reasons. But yeah, we'll definitely
Yeah,
take a look at that.
I will put that in our chat, dude, and then you can have a look at it later at your
Perfect.
leisure. There we go. Done.
Awesome. So Jace the Poop Scooper says my custom lattice. It has a custom case I designed to show off the HHKB blocker area, all white and red,
Nice.
snow white linear switches. Let me. Can you check that link for me real quick? Should be fine.
It's good.
but-
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, you're good to go. Yeah, it's really good.
Perfect.
That's absolutely a stellar build. Actually, the way that I didn't realize that the
wow.
Lattice did this in terms of how it lays out the diodes, but that looks really neat and really fun. I'm a huge fan of that already, and big props for repping DCS Red Alert as well, because
We
Red
love
Alert
to
is a
see that.
great set. It's fully underrated as Red Alert.
Agreed. Yep, I have it on a board right behind me. Big fan. I love seeing anyone rep DCS in particular, regardless of the colorway, because I think it's a really underused and underappreciated profile. But I've actually, this is my first time seeing the Lattice. I had never seen this before. So you're right, Jay. This kind of takes an alternative take as opposed to like the gingham or the plaid or things of that nature, where it's kind of just very systematically laid out. But this is really interesting. I love the blockers in particular.
Right, it looks fantastic. It's a really cool layout. It looks great. I mean, it's eminently usable, and it's not going to break the bank either. It's a, I don't want to say it's a budget build in terms of how it performs, because it's not. But in terms of being easy on the wallet, it's much easier than buying a TGR or a Keycle, right? It's great.
Yeah, no, this is cool stuff, guys. This is cool stuff. I love seeing, like, we've seen so many boards from chat already that are not like super high tier stuff, and this is what's really cool to me, because so often we go around the community, whether you're on RMK or you're in Discords or whatever, you see all these like super high tier, like top grade premium boards that are outrageously expensive, and those are super cool, yeah, but like this is where the community actually is. Like these are the kind of boards that people are actually using, right? Like these much less expensive, much more accessible kind of boards that most people can kind of get their hands on a lot easier. And that's cool to see too. Like it's fun looking at TGR and Keycult and all that really high tier stuff, but this is so much more of an everyman's kind of product, and it's kind of nice to pay homage to that as well, as opposed to just looking
100%.
at where all the dollars go.
Yeah, and there was a little bit of talk about this as well. So he had the case cut by Pinocchio, which was really cool. The Curious Yellow starts talking about laser cutting as well and stuff. Dude, if you're in the UK and you need something laser cutting, just let me know. I can cut it for you. If you have the design files, I'll cut it for you. Like, you just pay the cost of the electricity on the laser. Like, simple as that.
Yeah, that's hard to argue that, man. All right, let's take a look at another one. Kimchi Jody Boy in chat says, not my first custom, but my first custom with a K, first one with a C. Peacock
Nice.
Lin Montage in garbage lighting, SP Star Nana switches, an alu top mount with TX 57 gram long springs, lubed with 3204. And if you're not into keyboards, that sentence probably made 0 sense to you. That was one of those like enthusiast sentences where you have to like
Yeah.
I
So when we
love that.
talked
I love
about
it.
Lin and the Box 75 Lin works, this is the other Lin that does the montage, the Dollinger, and a few others as well. First and foremost, right? What I will say is about this is I own the same board as this. I own a montage in peacock blue, and when he says that the lighting isn't doing the board justice, I can 100% guarantee you that the lighting isn't doing the board justice. That blue on that board really, really pops in real life. It's like a really vibrant blue. I actually bought the board from a Future Crime who gave me the album that I shared earlier on, the Typing Sounds album. But those peacock quads are really bright blue, like
Yeah.
brighter than that image gives you even
You
a
can.
slight hope of understanding.
No
So
offense to
bear that in mind,
Kimchi
guys.
here, but you can tell this is terrible lighting because if you've ever seen GMK Analog Dreams in person, it looks nothing like this.
I can do analog dreams. I can't do the Lin because it's in the workshop. This is analog dreams in real life, so you can kind of see the difference here.
Yeah, quite a bit different. Definitely, I'll agree with the garbage lighting, but I mean, it's a super cool board, right? Super duper cool board,
Yeah.
and you can tell how much thought went into that board. Like he's listing, like he's so happy about this board. Look at how he's listing the specs. That's what I like to
Yeah.
see. That's there's passion behind this, and that's super awesome. Yeah, so he says GMK Analog Dreams, and it's absolutely fantastic. This is one board I constantly keep coming back to. That's awesome. I think everyone needs that one board, right? Like, it's nice to have a collection.
Yeah.
I love the variety, but just like right now, the Tind is it for me. No matter what I swap to, I just come back to this, and I'm like, this feels like home.
Yeah, the F1's that for me at the minute as well, so I completely get that. And do you know what's really, really cool about how he's laid out this board as well? The fact that the novelties, I'm not usually a novelty guy, but the fact that the novelties look really, really good on this. So he's got the gradient on the right-hand side of the Analog Dreams colors, the kind of pastel colors. And then the whole kind of like the floppy disks and the statue and then the dolphins. I think that looks really good. I'm really, really big fan of that.
Yeah, you can tell how
look.
much thought and effort went into this board, like to
Oh,
personalize
100%.
it, and that's a really fun
100%.
thing to see. Gotta love that. All right, let's take a look at the next one here. Can you check and make sure that link's all right for me? OJFW20.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that's okay. It's an interesting first picture, but it's okay.
Interesting first picture, but that's okay. All right, you're scaring me a little bit, but that's also okay.
It's
Oh,
it's an interesting first picture because we're in it.
all right, all right. Well, there you go. There's a picture. He does have some keyboards back there as well.
Yeah,
I
there
see
are some
what
keyboards.
it looks to be a plunk, as well as is that the nightmare? Is that what's under that? No, that's not the nightmare. That's something else.
No,
What is that?
that's a candy bar R2.
Candy bar. That's right.
Yeah.
I appreciate the Grogu in the top right there. Love seeing that.
And the wrist rest as well, the vertical wrist rest. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Here's the keyboard in question, which I'm gonna go ahead and look back real quick because I actually don't know what this is. His comment says, first board October 2020, Candy Bar R2. Originally had Infinity Gran, which will have Cabernet when it arrives. Second board December 2020, OLKB Plonk, AliExpress keycaps. Third board today, Ergo Dash, with the previously mentioned Gran keycaps, stolen from the Candy Bar. All had 62-gram Tangies, now all have Kiwis. Interesting. So you're one of those one switch for all kind of people, which is always interesting to see because I'm the exact opposite. If I duplicate a switch, I go crazy. I always try to use something different. So it's kind of cool to see the other end of the spectrum as well. So nothing wrong with that at all, obviously. And really interesting. Ergo Dash. So this is more or less the Ergodox layout in a way. And I've always thought that if I were ever going to go split Ergo or something kind of, more obscure like this would probably be the layout that I would use. To me, this is like the kind of classic community Ergo. Is the Ergodox in our community. I like seeing that. Shout out to the Gran Desmat as well with the my favorite part in between the TRS cable here. You get a little you can tell you had something to drink there. I like the little the little damp rim.
I'm gonna guess that that's a can based off the size of it. So the real question is that alcoholic or is that is that a soft drink? Is that a soda?
I'm gonna say soft drink. I'm gonna say a soft drink. That's what we're gonna go with.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna guess as well, and I'm gonna take the safe guess. I'm gonna guess that was probably a can of Coca-Cola.
Okay.
Soft drinks exist. Other soft drinks do exist.
Do we know? He says sorry I was in a rush. No need to apologize. No, look, these keyboards don't need to be perfect. These pictures don't need to be perfect. This is real life, guys.
It's fun. This is fun. This is the best stream we've done in ages. I love this.
Yeah, this is tons of fun, and like this shows that we're real people. Cause if you look down at my desk right now, it's not pretty. All right, it's kind of a disaster. It's a mess. Look at this. I have a tea infuser with tea still in it right next to my keyboard from when I was making a cup of tea here before the stream. Like, these are real people with real issues in real keyboard environments. Like, it's not always the super fancy, Nathan Kim desk situation, we're not all that and I'm sure he has, a messy desk at times too when he's not streaming or whatever, but we're all real people, and it's totally fine. No need to apologize for anything like that. He does say it was coffee though, so I guess we were both right.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Which is kind of like a neat homage to Langlandia's work, since obviously he worked on Gran, and then before that he worked on Cafe.
Well. Yeah.
So which has pre-stained designs on the desk mat, as it were. So it's I don't know why, but my brain just put that together, and I really appreciate that kind of thing.
Nice.
So cool stuff. All right, let's see who's up next here before we talk about our last items as well. So that was OJF, and now we have Spelunkpunk, who shares a link, and I don't see any info whatsoever. But
no, we're good to share it though.
We'll share it. We'll share it. Obviously, feel free to let us know in chat if you have anything you'd like to add here for information. But as we can tell here, this is what looks to be a Real Force R1 in the JIS layout. Very kind of very hard to miss. Lots of keys on that bottom row, and we have some high pro caps too here. Very, very cool. Very nice.
Do you know, if I was ever going to own a Topra board, because I don't own a Topra board, if I was going to own one, this is the one I want. This is the only one that I've looked and seen that I would like.
JIS high pro Real Force.
Yeah. This would be the board that I would pick.
Yeah, this is super cool.
And I dread to think what they cost these days.
Yeah, I agree. Some
if anyone has a high pro JIS Real Force in good condition, then slide into my DMs.
Yeah, you need to scan. I don't know how it is these days, but to find stuff like this, you'd scan the Japanese Yahoo auctions.
Yeah, the Yahoo auctions. Yeah.
Yeah, this is nice though. Very nice, classic. The Real Force to me has always been like my desert island board, right? Like if I had to give up keyboards and just use one for the rest of my life, 55 gram Real Force, give it to me. That's what I need. I'm a big fan of this. I've always loved Topra. I was kind of love at first type in a way. And though I think the stock HHKB needs a lot of work, when it comes to the Real Force, I think the board is just spectacular as it is. A little work helps, but man, it's such a classy board. It feels great. It sounds great. You feel better when you use it. That's what I love about Topra. Like it makes you feel like better about yourself. I don't even know how to explain it, but man, I love using Topra. And this is beautiful. High Pro is amazing. Very cool.
Yeah, that is literally the only Topra board I would want. In fact, actually, I tell a lie. There is one other alternative. I would like a Norbauer, the HHKB version that he's done. I can't remember what he called it now. But I would like that with those keycaps on, like the Real Force keycaps in that layout.
Yeah,
that's what I would like.
The Heavy Grail.
Heavy Grail. HHKB sorry, that was the one. Yeah. That would be my ultimate one and only end game. Topra keyboard, I suspect.
Yeah, man, I need to use my Topra more. It's been a bit. I've been so caught up in all these new switches and stuff for MX that I need to go back to the old love.
Sure. Yeah. And so Spelunk didn't actually need to tell us anything about that. We figured it out.
No, this one's pretty
Um,
straightforward. Thankfully, I mean it's a board that you can buy. So I mean it's not a custom, which is totally fine. Still, arguably my favorite OEM keyboard to date. Love the Real Force, and I have a Real Force round. Actually, I have a round one as well. I have a round one and a round two. My round one is in a Norba Force, which is fantastic as well. Very very cool. All right, moving right along. Let's
I
see.
just realized that I might be a little bit frozen. Give me a second, guys. I'll restart my camera. I don't know what's happened there.
Um, it could be Discord just doing Discord things, but we'll
It,
see.
it, it seems like it's OBS on my
OBS
screen.
OBS has been giving me some issues lately, so I was a little worried. It froze on me before the stream, but I can see that you're frozen for me on Discord, so I don't think this is an OBS issue on my end, at least.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's OBS on my end. Give me 1 minute, and I'm gonna. You might see it flicker a little bit,
No
uh,
worries. You
but
you
I will be
do
back
what you
in a
got to do.
second.
Yeah, while you're doing that, I'm going to show off another keyboard real quick. A follow up from Kimchi Jode Boy here, who says, let me just make sure this is safe. That is totally safe. Very cool. He says, my second custom, with a K, from the man Gian himself. Blue-gray F18X with alu Vuitton top and bottom O-ring gasket. Retool housing with Kale Burgundy stems with 3204. Interesting switch choice. Very, very cool. So that's almost like a linear kind of nod to a Holy Panda, because you have the Kale Burgundy stem,
Oh,
which has a longer stem than a typical MX switch. So you're going to get that earlier, clackier bottom out. Enjoy PBT Simple JA. Love to see that. Custom Geon Works Laser Artisan in the F1 spot, which is
nice.
really delightful. Look at that. That's really pretty.
Yeah. So one of the things I'm trying to do with the GeonWorks F1 ATEX boards is get one in every color. This is a color that eludes me at the moment. I have the navy one, but I don't have the blue gray. I have a silver one coming, but I don't have a burgundy. So I have an e-white one coming, and yeah, it's just frustrating because like that's such a good looking board. Like that color just works.
Yeah.
I'm jealous. I'm
This
jealous of
is
everyone's boards, man.
this is cool
Jealous of
stuff.
everyone's boards. This is so nice.
Also, a shout out to the One Piece reference here on the cable. He's got a little cable adornment. I don't actually know what to call this, but a little cable end there, and I'm pretty sure that's a One Piece reference. Pretty sure that's Tony Chopper. So shout out to the One Piece reference. Love to see
Nice.
that.
And did you say that this was EPBT Simple JA? Is that what this is? Because that's
Yes.
what it looks like. I've lost the place in where we are in chat. Okay.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah, they work really well on the board. Nice.
Cool.
That looks great.
Very cool. Next up, we have the Pokemon Kid. He says, "Hey guys, I thought I would show off my baby. I messaged Ryan many times about making a polycarbonate Norbitouch case, and when he released it, I insta-bought it. I have just bought DES pink domes. Oh yeah, okay, the Dusky's pink domes. And gasketed the plate, and now it feels heavenly. Using Infinikey white on black. The third picture is the foam just laser etched for me to top the build off, rather. So let me open this, make sure this is
Yeah, and
safe.
that was a commission, Matt. The Pokemon Kid. He actually asked me to laser etch that foam for him. It's 3 millimeters thick felt, and I laser etched it in my workshop for him.
Wow, this is really interesting. A PC Norbitouch with the Dusky's pink domes and gasketed the plate. Finicky white on plate. This is a really really interesting build. To be totally honest, this is a really cool piece. I'm a big fan of the Nova Touch. I was really sad when that board got discontinued. I almost wonder if Cooler Master had re-released the Nova Touch now, how it would do. Because I feel like it would do a
I think
lot
it'd do
better.
exceptionally well.
I think
Yeah,
it'd
it
do
would
a
do
lot better now.
exceptionally well, I think.
Yeah, so that'd be kind of cool to see more of. But yeah, always cool to see a Nova Touch, especially in a Norbauer case. We love Norbauer. Great guy, great products. Really cool to see a polycarbonate one. You don't see that too often, that's for sure. Super cool. MX keycaps, and I assume this little mat that we can kind of see through the bottom here. This is a really cool picture. This final one here.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
gosh,
Well, I
that's
mean,
beautiful.
yeah, we can see the domes there. You can see the keycaps there, the playing cards, and the nice watch in the background. I like that. I think that's a Tudor by the looks of it. Yeah, it's just a really nicely kind of put together picture. But you can see the foam that there is actually 3 millimeters thick felt that I laser etched and cut to the right shape
Oh, it's
and put
felt.
the design on that frame. Yeah, it's actually
Interesting.
made of felt. Yeah.
Yeah, is that why we have playing cards here? Because obviously, because I work in a casino and have for a very long time, I'm very familiar with felt. It's what we use on the top of all of our tables.
Yeah.
So I wonder,
It's a little bit rougher than that, but it is the felt that I use. It's a little bit rougher. It's got a little bit more texture to it, but it's very, very similar.
yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if the two kind of go hand in hand there. Was the choice for felt something to do with the playing cards here? I'm very interested in the backstory here. Because obviously,
Yeah.
other materials could have been used, right? It didn't necessarily need to be felt, but the fact that it is, I think, is a really interesting choice.
Mhm. Yeah. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Also, shout out to him for the flip spacebar. I love to see that. My brethren, my brethren. Very cool. Awesome piece, Pokemon Kid. All right.
Okay.
Nordell is asking, do I submit here in chat or through Discord? I got my hands on
Oh,
a grail of mine today. I'd love to show it off.
Nodhell has actually posted that later on down as well. There's actually
Oh.
a couple more left in chat before we get there, though. But yeah,
Yeah.
they've posted the link later on.
Okay, we'll get to that presently then. So the next one will actually come from, it looks like, Michelle C.
Hmm.
Is that post okay to open, or should I check it first?
It's there's a lot of images. Yeah, it's good to open. It's good to go.
Okay.
You can share that. No problems.
Ooh, we got some nice pictures here. Okay. And information too. I love seeing the information here. Okay, Burger Mount hard maple case finished with Osmo Pollux oil.
Hmm.
Adapted to the EXT65 PCB with idyllic acrylic plates. Duroc V2 stabilizers, lubed and padded. Snow Whites, filmed and lubed. Geek Arc, black on white, and oak accents. Wow.
This is a really nice build.
This is a really
this is
cool
one of those
build.
builds that someone's taken time, effort, and care and attention to. Like wooden cases always look really nice and really interesting, but this one looks super stunning, especially with the matching wrist rest. It just looks really warm and inviting as a build, and it looks like it pays homage to a lot of modern furniture and that kind of birch and maple, those pale coloured woods. It looks really nice. Big fan.
Yeah, and Michelle says, got into the hobby less than 3 months ago, having so much fun. CNC to wood case for my EXT65 Southpaw. This is quite a keyboard. This is really cool. You want to know how I know how much passion went behind this? There's even a stand for the coil on the custom cable, Jay.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah,
That is
yeah. There's like a little
that's
rest for it, like coil rest.
that's next level. I almost never see that in the keyboard community. That's how much care and detail went into that. And look at this. It actually is grooved to hold
Yeah,
the
it's
cable itself.
got the curve in there. Yeah.
I'm impressed. This is a really cool piece. And I really like the wood keycaps too. I don't particularly like how bold the legends are, but the fact that they're just wood keycap accents, I think, is just absolutely a stunning idea. And this just looks wonderful. Matching wrist dress. What's not to like here?
Yeah, it's a good looking board. Even the side shot with the LEDs showing through. I'm not usually a fan of LEDs. That just looks really nice and welcoming and inviting. No RGBs here, just a really classic lighting. Looks really nice.
Really, really pretty board. Good pictures too. This is I am just I am just enthralled by this coil cable holder thing. I feel like this is something I need to start doing now. I gotta really up my game.
Mm.
I feel behind the times by not having one of these. My gosh, very very cool. Thank you very much for sharing. All right, so Nordell says, I got my hands on this wonderful piece of plastic today. I had the Nova Touch from before, but I had the chance to buy the Norba Touch case and had to do it. Let me check that real quick.
I'm just looking at it now. It looks okay.
Okay, we'll go back then. All right, so we have another polycarbonate Norba Touch then. Very interesting.
Nice to see 2 ISO ones as well. Like,
yeah. Very, very, very cool. GMK Olivia being repped here, obviously, arguably the most popular set in the keyboard community. Really nice looks here. The cool thing about polycarbonate is I feel like every set looks good on it.
it does.
It's
it
like
does. It
the
goes
best
with
thing
everything,
about
right?
polycarbonate. So yeah, really cool piece here.
Yeah, that's nice. I like the Latralium Artisan on the Escape as well. That's really nice too.
Yeah, Nordell says, here it's dressed in Olivia with sort of a matching Latralium Artisan, with BKE light domes on spacebar and Tiffany domes on the rest.
Ah, interesting.
Okay. So, BKE light on the spacebar. Interesting. Very cool.
Sneaky shout out as well. In the very first picture, if you open up that one, Brian, I spy a little Rama tray in the top left corner with the international kit ISO enter key just sneaking away up there in the top corner. I see you. I see you.
Yeah. That's like one of the best things about these like desk pictures is kind of trying to find like the story and like the Easter eggs behind a lot of the stuff that's like also on the desk. I don't know why, but I'm really interested in that kind of thing. But very cool. This is a super cool build. Nice. The Rage and Asian says Topra is Bopra. That's right, my dude.
What does Bopra mean? What does that mean?
So do you not remember the kind of meme B, like the B
I
GMK B?
do. I was playing the old guy in the room.
Oh well, I mean, you probably are the oldest one on this stream, Jay. Out of the two of us,
Sadly,
you are the oldest.
Sadly,
one
I probably am. Yes.
Oh my gosh. Fleeceman says XRF GB just opened up, chaps. Ooh, XRF.
Yeah, the Noxtree XRF. Yeah.
Nice. We like that. OJFW says follow-up pic with the mug, not the one responsible for the coffee stain. Okay. I'm gonna show this.
It's a grand mug. It's got the similar artwork to the desk mat on it.
Yeah, no, I had to show this because when I saw the mug, I that's pretty thematic, right? It's
pretty cool.
That's pretty
cool.
Very cool. All right, very nice. Who do we have next here? We should probably finish up the ones that we have as well. I think we're actually caught up.
I think we are caught up. Yeah. Shall I do my next one then?
Yeah. You can do yours, then I'll do my last one, and then we can.
Okay.
We can slowly close things up.
I'm gonna give everyone a warning before I show this one because I'm gonna wax lyrical about this because this is a project that someone has done that I am really impressed with. And whilst it was expensive, I could not justify not buying one of these. Okay, so that's how I'm going to preface this. I'm going to show you the board, and then Brian's going to share a couple of links, and I'm going to just basically tell you as much as I can about it. But one of my loves is vintage stuff, as everyone knows, and especially Alps stuff. And I found a post. In fact, actually, we probably share the Destority link post first, Brian. That might make sense. We'll talk about it first, and I'll show the board. I found a post on Destority a couple of weeks ago, back in January, and this was a really interesting post by a guy called Willem, who runs a company called Keymax.
Do you want me to share the post right now, or do you want me to wait till you're done talking?
Yeah, let's put the Destority post up there, and I'll just talk through it. And basically, this whole thread on Destority was about Willem and his journey to recreate the old Symbolics boards. So if you guys don't remember this, Symbolics did a whole series of boards a long time ago that were all designed to help with the Lisp programming language and all sorts of other things as well. And Brian, if you scroll down a little bit, you can see there's like a video with a Symbolics board in it. You don't need to play the video, but there is a picture of the Symbolics board there in the video, and you can kind of see it's that old vintage kind of board and everything else. And Willem decided to recreate this. And when I say he decided to recreate this, he did it in a way that is incredibly different to how many other people do things. So he decided to create a board. And not just like, I've created boards with people, and Noxious created boards with people, and TJ, I've created boards with people. He didn't just design an aluminium CNC case. He didn't just get a PCB and designed that to make it for the layout that he wanted. He went 100% further. He bought himself a home CNC machine. He bought himself a home laser cutter. He bought himself a raft of other tools, and he built this thing from the ground up. Everything you see that I'm going to show you, he has designed tooling for and made himself. So he CNCs these boards to order, not in batches. You order it on the site. He spends the next 2 weeks making every single aspect of this by hand for you. He's come up with his own stabilizer solution that works with Alps keycaps, which these are. He laser cuts certain parts of them out of POM, and he makes other parts that are injection molded, all in his own home workshop. He CNCs the case on his home CNC machine out of aluminium to his design. He even makes his own double shot keycaps in his workshop at home for the whole layout. And Brian's got on the screen at the minute, he's got some pictures of the keycaps there. So when you can see the row of 4 keycaps, the one on the very left, that's the one that he's designed and made. And these keycaps, they're kind of incredible. They're double shot, they're thick, they're homemade, they're consistent with the legends. They're absolutely incredible. So he does this all himself, the whole design and everything. And he even sources new old stock of Alps switches. And you can buy these on the site, and he will put the whole kit together for you. He laser cuts the whole plates and everything else. It's all done in-house where he can do it. And it's kind of this incredible program from end to end that he just does. This whole thing. This is the thread. I'll post a link to the thread into chat. But this is the thread. This is where I learned about it on the Destority website. But let me open the box. This is the box that you get. He even screen prints his own logo onto it. That's how cool this is. The first thing I want to show you guys is the keycaps. If Brian flips back over to the
Way ahead of you.
He's way ahead of me. I'm going to put the board down for a second. I'll show you the board in a minute.
Oh, I should have. All right. I made a mistake. I should have made another scene to show us larger. Oh well.
Oh well, never mind. But this is an example of one of the keycaps. I'll get this as close to the camera as I can where it'll focus. Like this is a keycap that this guy makes in his own workshop. These are absolutely stunning. They're double shot, they're incredibly thick, they're sculpted. He's got a whole different series of profiles for the different rows.
So this guy,
all of the modifiers are blank.
He double shoots his own keycaps.
Yeah, and this isn't just his own keycap, this is his own sculpt. He's designed a sculpt, made all of the molds for it himself, and then double shots it to order.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with Nordhell here, who's asking, is this guy a superhero? I think you have to be to do a project like this so thoroughly.
Right. It's unbelievable. And even down to the switches, so he sources all of the switches for you. So when you buy it as a kit, this actually comes with switches as well. So I picked Salmon Alps, and I've never seen Alps this clean. These are new old stock. These are absolutely beautiful Alps switches. They're in incredible condition. God knows where he found them from, and God knows how he got them to feel as nice as he does. But he even lubricates them all for you. There's pictures on his Instagram today of him lubing someone's order. He even customizes all of the switches for you, so it's just ready to go. You just need to solder it. That's it. But let me show you them, because it's a chunker. And it's heavy. I've had to seal it back up, so it was coming apart a little bit. So you have to ignore my tape being on there. That doesn't come with it. You don't get my tape with it. Okay. I should have prepped this before the stream actually, but I didn't. Like my bad.
That's okay. It's just more raw, and raw isn't necessarily bad.
Right. Let's get rid of the backing. But this is how the bullets comes, and I haven't changed anything on this. This is how it comes. So some of the keycaps aren't on there, so you can see the switches are all in there and everything else. But this is how it comes. So all the modifiers are blank. Every single keycap on this board is made by him. The whole board is CNC'd, anodized in-house. He does this all himself. And the whole thing is just stunning. It probably lacks a little bit in terms of keyboard design and construction, in terms of how we might do it in the community with some of the more popular boards. But what it lacks for in that kind of whole piece, it makes up for in style. This is a fully functional USB-C keyboard built by the guy in house. Now, this wasn't cheap. This was €1,400. It was expensive. That's like $1,600 ish. It was not cheap, but the fact that this guy manufactures everything in-house is just unbelievable.
I can't even imagine what this guy's workshop looks like, to be able to CNC, anodize, and fully sculpt and build keycaps himself. This guy's workshop must be quite a place to stand.
And do you want to know the even cooler part? On his website, he has even built his own version that's a front-end live updating version of QMK that's just like Via or Vile, but it works in the web browser. And he's built his own version of it just for this keyboard. Like it's not based on Via, it's based on QMK, but he's built his own thing that does the same thing as what Via does. And it's built into his website. If you've got one of these boards plugged in, I'll drop the link into chat. You can absolutely go and program your board through that. So not only has he done that, he's also taken care of all of the coding. He's based in Eastern Europe. I won't share exactly where he is. I'm not sure if it says on the site, so it's not fair for me to say that. But yeah, guys, Brian, I think you should share the website now, the first website, the Keymax website.
Yeah, sure. Can definitely do that.
But this is just unbelievable work. If you click on the keymap editor link at the top, it'll take you there, and you can see that it's got the whole keymap thing, and you can just adjust the board live on the site, which is just kind of phenomenal.
That's crazy. He had a video for it as well. So this is crazy.
Yep. It's just kind of unbelievable. But not only does he have just one keymap as stock, he actually has about 20. So there's a drop down that you can see where it says keymap right at the top. If you use the drop down on the left hand side, you'll see that there's a load of different ones that he's already done and already pre-programmed for people to pick up. Whether you want the symbolic style layouts or you want some 2 layers with Windows functions, there's something that if you don't want to use your own layout, you can pick one of these presets. There's even the Hans Hubner setup and all sorts of other things. It's kind of crazy.
This is ridiculous.
Right. Like as soon as I heard about this, I could not buy one of these. I had to buy one to support the guy. And the really cool thing is, I was only the second person to buy one of these. He posted that in January, and I was only the second person to buy one of these. This guy needs more love. Like, if you guys are into Alps or vintage boards, I have no financial connection to this guy. I've only spoken to him by email and a little bit on Instagram. I have no idea. But this guy is a hero, and he needs supporting, and he needs people to buy this from him because it's such a cool product. And this is kind of why I wanted to do the show and tell today. I'm going to do a build stream where I actually build the board in the near future. But I've never felt Alps board like this. This is kind of like my whole... He's my hero. Like, he's my keyboarding hero. I want to meet the guy. I want to go out to his workshop. I want to spend some time with him. Hell, I want to work with him on a project because the guy has done something phenomenal.
I don't understand how one person can put so much work into something. This is
It took him 3 years.
This is truly next level stuff.
Yeah, and there are some things that are kind of like I don't think he really From what I understand, I haven't spoke to him about this, but from what I understand from reading everything, I'm not sure if he realizes how big the custom keyboard community is outside of the little bit that he knows on GeekHack. Like, I don't know if he realizes that people make customs, because there's a lot of different things that he could have picked up from in terms of tweaking the case design, tweaking how to do some of the USB stuff from how we do it within the community these days with like the standardized daughter boards and stuff that we've got. But he's got his own versions of this. Like, he has his own daughter board thing that he's completely created from scratch and bears no resemblance even to the standardized daughter boards we use in the community today. So I'm just genuinely impressed. I'm just genuinely impressed.
Yeah, until today,
everything.
I had no idea this existed, and this is insane in like the best possible way.
Yeah, and he has got some of these kits in stock. You can buy them in stock, and he will make them for you. I was really tempted to get a Brown Alps version. I ended up going with the Salmon Alps version. I'm not quite sure what made me do that, but he's got a series of curated switches in stock that are ready to go as well. It's just kind of all phenomenal. Like the guy has just done a huge job. He makes his own stabilizers for these things. It's just obscene. Like, it's obscene. I have no other word for it. I can't rave highly enough about this.
Yeah, this is breathtaking.
Right?
I want to experience that board now. I'm gonna come visit you, Jay. I want you to type on that board.
Dude, like, I don't know if it's the mic's picking up, but it sounds better than any other keyboard I've made. Other Alps keyboard I've used. And the other thing as well is look at the size of the spacebar. Like, look at this. It's proper vintage, hugely long spacebar. I haven't even counted how many units it is, but it's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 units long spacebar. It's just cool as hell.
Yeah, this is really quite a sight to behold. Really, really cool. Labor of love, says Jigsaw. I completely agree. Kimchi Jody Boy says, this is a level of enthusiast that almost nobody reaches. Massive props to him.
Right? It's true. It's true. No one gets to this level.
Yeah.
And
like actually nobody. Nobody's doing like this level of work themselves. This is really, really unrealistic for like basically everyone.
Who else makes double shot keycaps in their own home basement or workshop or whatever? And like, I've got to be honest with you, the legends are some of the nicest legends I've ever seen. Like, I can't find a fault with them. I genuinely cannot find a fault with them.
So quality control is really high here as well, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, the fact that he makes these double shot keycaps at home, how the hell he manages that, I have no idea. Because they're just perfect. I mean, I can show them on this little camera, and I'll show them on a build stream later on. But like, they're just so good. Like, the legends are just so good.
They look really clean. Yeah.
I mean, he even designed the font for them as well. This is how deep it goes. He didn't just use a font off the shelf. He designed a font for these.
Aaron Josh says he's gonna get really overwhelmed after this.
Maybe. I hope he does.
I don't think so. This guy clearly knows what he's doing, and he is. I would bet that he is fully prepared and set up for anything that comes his way. Like, you don't put this much effort and time and dedication into something and not be prepared. This guy clearly knows what the heck is going on, and
so
yeah, go ahead.
Here's how it worked for me, right? I found out about this about 3 weeks after the listing got posted on Destority. In fact, I posted in the thread. I think I'm pretty much the last person to post in the thread. In fact, no, I'm not. There's one person after me. But I posted on the 26th of January. I bought this board on the 26th of January, and it took him 3.5 weeks to make it. He made it all from scratch, and then it took about 10 days to ship because shipping with Brexit is not great. But it arrived just a few days ago, and I could not be more in love with this thing. And I haven't even plugged it in yet.
That's crazy, man.
If Philem is down for me to visit him, guys, I will. I've seen some of the comments saying you should go and see him. If he is down for me to visit him and go and talk about his workshop and have a look at how he does things, I 100% will do that as soon as Brexit's a good thing. Like, it will be the best plane ticket ride I've ever bought in terms of value for me for going to see it. Because I think I've got a nice workshop here, and I think I've got a lot of cool toys. But this guy, he takes it to the next level. and he produces something that's truly a custom keyboard.
Well, now I'm not as excited to share my last thing because I feel like nothing stands up to this. This is obviously like the pinnacle of DIY keyboarding, like from one person. Like he does it all, and nobody else does it all, right? Like nobody else goes to their garage and from scratch manufactures an entire keyboard. Like that doesn't happen. So that's what makes this really truly special. And yeah, I have one more thing to share as well, but now I feel like emasculated by this this keyboard post because it's just so overwhelmingly, insanely incredible. Even the web design is top notch, says Tosco. Yeah, I completely agree. Like, I am at a loss for words.
Yeah, like I can't wax lyrical enough about this project and how I feel about it. Like, I'm just completely blown away, and I love the board, more than I love most of my other boards. I haven't even typed on it yet because I just really like what this guy is doing, and I want to support it. Like, I was a huge fan. Like, I was part of the team that worked on the Hyper 7 keyboard, and that was cool to me. It was bringing back the whole retro thing with a huge layout, and it was based on the symbolics and list boards at the time, and that was really cool. But this takes it to a whole new level. This isn't just a PCB and a plate and some switches. This is everything, all in one bundle, and I think it was worth every single penny.
Yeah, I don't doubt that whatsoever. I'm actually going to take just a moment so that sinks in for everyone while we talk about our sponsors real quick. We'll come back and then I'll show off my final piece, and we'll do a brief Q&A, answer any final questions before we head out for the day. This has ran a little long, but obviously we've been talking about some really cool pieces from you guys, as well as this kind of cool stuff like the Keymax. So yeah, guys, just let that ridiculousness sink in for a moment while I swap the viewer over here, and we'll talk about sponsors for just a moment, guys. Starting with the one, the only, Novel Keys. You know them, you probably love them. Come on, who doesn't at this point? They're just freaking amazing. Lots of things going on right now, including GMK Striker 2. If you missed the first round, bam, here it is again for you. Very nice. GMK Color Chrome, a really interesting set if you like that monochrome aesthetic, but you want a little bit more flashiness to it. I think this is a really good idea, really good option. And something a lot of people have been waiting for here is the NK87 Aluminum Edition. Finally is open for pre-order. It's certainly not as cheap as an NK65, for an example. In terms of the, well, at least the entry edition. But this is still a very, very inexpensive aluminum TKL. Comes in a variety of colors. We love to see that. And, doesn't break the bank. It's cool to see keyboards under $300 in the custom space. And if the NK65 was any indication, I would say this is also going to be pretty much a home run. So looking forward to checking some of these out. I'm going to be greedy. I'm going to ask for a sample. And hopefully we can check one of these out as well and maybe do a little comparison to the NK65 and maybe some other things as well. So pre-orders open on that for you guys, so get on that if that's your thing. And if you're looking for other things, well, they might have it as well. Desk pads, switches, stabilizers, lubes, switch openers. He's got the new stabilizers, which I actually just got in the other day to check out the new packaging and such. So very, very cool stuff. We love seeing that. And yeah, if you're buying anything in stock, make sure you use the promo code ClickClack. That's one word, no capitals, and that'll get you 5% off your order, and it'll show Mike that you might love us just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Just a little tiny bit.
Just a little tip.
Moving over to our second sponsor of the day is the wonderful people over at Kono.store. They've got a few things to call out today, including the very, very cute GMK Yeti, which is a ice and snow Yeti themed keycap set, which is really, really cute, and it might be something that you're interested in if you like that whole kind of gradient swooping effect across your keyboard. As well as that, they have got a few other things on there, such as GMK Star, which is just about at the end of the group buy period now, I believe. Patrick who? Maybe that's in your vein. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's something you like. Maybe it isn't. But it's going to be divisive and it's going to be a talking point. So if you're interested, guys, then do take a look at that as well. Just flipping over to the keyboard side of things, there's a couple of things they've got on the store that I want to talk about. The first one is the Hex Gears board. They've still got these great Hex Gears boards, the X1 specifically, where it's great board for people just coming into the hobby. It has all of these cool features, low profile, mechanical keyboard, all the bells and whistles that someone might want from a general OEM style board. So maybe take a look at that. And one of the other things I've noticed that they've got on the homepage as well right now is the Keyboardio Atrius, which looks fantastic, which is a hot swap ergo 40%. And you can get it with a variety of different switches. And I think it even comes with the travel case and palm rest as well, or you can order those as separate options. But that wooden palm rest is pretty cool for
Yeah.
$60.
Yeah, I've actually used one of these
It's a
too.
good looking board.
These are
Yeah,
really
I've
cool.
tried the layout before. Yeah.
These are the Atrius is pretty cool. I'm a big fan of that. I like that it comes in box whites too. That's an underrated switch.
The palm rest is the kicker for me. Though. That's what makes it
Yes.
worthwhile for me.
Yeah, I totally agree. Anyways, moving right along over, we have the wonderful KBD fans who has numerous things going on right now, including something that might make a lot of people happy particularly if you don't have a lot of money. Is the group buy for the KBD 6.7 Lite Round 2. So this one actually did really well in the first run, and I've been hearing a lot of really positive things on this. I haven't gotten my hands on one to try yet, unfortunately, but I hope to in the near future. And the second run open right now, though, starts at $109. It's kind of hard to argue. 65% gasket mount, hot swap. It's got lots of different color options. Really, really nice price point for this. This is kind of like an MK65 competitor, if you will, and it seems like it's really, really high value. So looking forward to checking one of those out. They also still have the group buy open for the D45, which is kind of like their almost 45-50% take on a gasket mounted small compact board that also doesn't really break the bank. Pretty cool to see that as well. Enjoy PBT Aesthetic is also recently opened. This is DD Decline's set, if I'm not mistaken. So really cool.
Yeah.
Love that guy. Love to support him. And this is quite an interesting and different set. So if you're into this kind of thing, definitely consider checking that out. This is one of the proxies for it. And if you're maybe in the market for none of that stuff, but maybe you don't have a lot of money to spend, just browse KBD fans anyways, because they have lots of things in stock, particularly of the entry level and budget variety. You don't have to break the bank here. You can come here with a reasonable amount of money, and you'll probably walk away with something. They have pretty much everything in stock. Pretty much a one-stop shop. And if you're lucky and you can hit up the B stock area when they have cool things. Sadly, things go really fast here, but when they do pop up there, they're usually really good value. So that's something to keep an eye out on if you're a value bargain hunter like myself.
Absolutely. Moving over to our final sponsor of the day, it is the wonderful Leandrin over at Mechanisk.co. The website is now back up. It's now live. It's back as of a few days ago. So congratulations to Leandrin on reopening. I know he's got a load of stuff sorted out in the background. And also, as well as that, it does mean that we see some new stuff coming. So there's a couple of teasers on there that Brian's highlighting right at the very top of the screen, which says that the Clipper T and the Fiel are coming back. So there's going to be another round of both of the Clipper T and the Fiel in April. That's just next month, guys. So if you don't have a Fiel or you don't have a Clipper T and you might want one next month, that's when the group buy starts for that. So take a look at that, guys, and get ready for that one. As well as that, he's also got a number of accessories in stock as well. So if you need any of the viewfinder bump-ons from his latest boards, any foams for the internals of the boards, or even any of the new carry cases, which are really robust and really cool and come in that ultramarine kind of colorway, then maybe you want to pick one up from the store, because those carry cases are really cool. They come in a couple of different sizes. You can take them, look at them. They can put different boards in them. It doesn't have to be just a Mechanisk board. You can put other things in there as well. So definitely take a look at them. As well as that, he's also got the ultramarine switches and ultramarine stabs in stock as well. So if you need some ultramarine goodies to liven up your build, you can get them in stock as well right now too. So definitely take a look at those.
Yes, very, very awesome. And also something I noticed before the stream, I don't know if anyone else caught this, but they actually have the tinned plates up for sale as well. So if maybe you got into the tin, but you wanted maybe an extra plate, but you didn't get it during the group buy, well, you can get them now. Brass, copper, and carbon fiber in both ANSI and ISO. It doesn't actually say tinned in the title, which it threw me off for a second. But this is the isolation mounting plate, and very clearly you can see that is for the tinned. So, bam! If you want more tinned plates, there you go. Glad to see that.
Awesome.
All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna while you guys prep any last minute questions before we head out, guys. Feel free to get those questions in at Top Clack. Helps us out a lot to view them. I'm gonna go ahead and show off what I have to finally show off for the towards the end of the stream, which isn't nearly as exciting as Jay's Keymac, unfortunately. But I do have the Project Keyboard Tengu, which is a board that I chose to show off today because this board proves that I'm sort of a hypocrite, and I'll tell you why. So, I am all about a lot of you guys, because I've been talking about this a lot recently. I often think that we tend not to appreciate what we have and what has come before in the community, and we're always kind of on about what's the next thing, what's the next cool thing coming out, what's the trends happening, and that kind of thing. And this. I tend to like to appreciate what I have instead of what's coming, because you never know how long you're gonna wait. You never know what's gonna happen, particularly with group buys. Like, it's almost anything can happen, sort of affair. And this is a board that I built, and sadly I just put it on my shelf, and I haven't really used it much more than a couple days since, which is kind of sad because this board is actually super awesome, and I do want to use it. But I feel like kind of a hypocrite because I haven't been able to sit down and appreciate that board. Because I've been so busy with other boards, and I want to get back to using this board, and I want to, let other people know that they should get back to using some of their previous works that they might have just kind of stored around. Show your boards some love, guys. I think that we so easily get lost in what's the newest thing, and we tend to forget a lot of the boards that, we've kind of built throughout over the years, and man, a lot of them just don't get as much love as they should, and that makes me feel kind of sad. So that's kind of why I chose that board. It's an awesome board. This one is built with aluminum plate. This is the red, by the way, which looks as good in person as it does on camera. Has GMK white on black. I have some lubed V2 65 gram Zelios in here. It's a lovely board. Love this bottom row as well. Really, really awesome product. But it needs more love, and I plan to show some more love to this board in the near future. I'm still in this. I'm in this tinned honeymoon phase, man. I just can't get enough of this board.
I know the feeling, man, because I'm in the same mode with my F1 8X. I just don't stop using it. I've got more than one of the board as well, and I just use the same one over and over again. So I know exactly how you feel. I personally am really disappointed in myself for not buying a Tengu, because the more I see them, the more I wish I'd bought one. They look so good, and that red really, really, really pops.
The red yeah.
It's one of those colors that just slaps, right? It's just such a good color.
Yes. Ray saying, "Will my boys hold me?" Absolutely, Ray. I'm always there for you. You know that. Nordell says the red on that Tengu is so nice. It really, really is. It really is. GMK Iceberg closing soon. Oh yes. Forgot about that. Ozai Obsession says, "Good morning, gang. Welcome to the tail end of the stream." Yeah, no questions as of yet for the Q&A. So this is gonna be a quick end to this, I think. We'll wait just.
Yeah, we've had a lot of chat with.
We've had a lot of
though,
chat.
right?
That's true. Yeah. I mean, I guess that makes sense. Since we changed formats and we've become like more interactive with chat, I feel like there tends to be less questions overall at the end because we generally have talked about stuff throughout the stream in the same sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, any closing thoughts then? Before
a couple. So a couple of me. I apologize. Last week I said I was going to do build stream on the Sunday, and I didn't do it. Because I didn't feel particularly well. And then I said I'd do it on the Monday night instead, and I didn't do it. So this week I am going to do a couple of build streams. I know for sure one will be on Sunday night, the usual slot. I will absolutely be there. And it will be building a low pro hot swap 60% with low pro switches, which I'm really excited to try out and see how that works, as well as taking a closer look at the Keymax board. That's going to be the stream on Sunday at the usual time. I'm also going to do at least one other build stream during the week next week. Now I have my new Wilbur PCBs that Salvan kindly sorted me out. so I can build my key cult in ISO correctly without having to use a Heine PCB. We're going to rebuild my key cult that I tried to build a couple of weeks ago with the correct PCB and everything else. So we're going to do that on stream one day during the week next week. It will be at the standard time I do my builds, 8 p.m., maybe a little bit later, and it'll be one night during the week next week. So those are the 2 build streams I have coming up between now and next week's Friday show.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I still have several builds coming up, and I guess several of them are going to be with you, Jay. I mean, if we decide to do the
we've got at least 2, right?
we could do the Evolve and we could do the Dollinger, for sure. So yeah, at least 2, and then well, have you done your Heine TKL yet?
I haven't got my Heine TKL in yet.
You haven't got it in yet. Okay.
No.
I still haven't built
Still waiting
mine,
on that
so
build.
depending on when yours comes in, we might be able to do a dual build of that as well. And it would be really interesting. It's always a good time to have Heine on. I'm sure he'd love to come on and mess around with us while we build.
Sure,
his
that would be such a fun build. Let's plan to do that. Let's see if we can hold off yours long enough to wait for mine to come in.
All right.
Because I think you got yours in the friends and family round, and mine was actually from the group buy.
Oh, okay,
so let's
okay.
let's see if we can hold off a little bit longer on that one.
All right, fair enough. Poo Typer says, I would like to give away the NZ Caps Ruin Crypt to a random person in the chat. Please pick someone if you want, of course. No pressure. He says he's DM'd me on Discord with the details, which I can't look at right now, but I totally believe you. We could do a quick little like Nightbot giveaway. Like that could be pretty easy.
Yeah, shall I set something up? Let me take
yeah, go
care
ahead.
of that.
Yeah, go ahead. Have at it. Yeah, we can do that. We can just do a little Nightbot giveaway, keyword or something, and give people a few moments. That'd be pretty easy. We like doing little giveaways. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, let's make it available for anyone and enter the giveaway. You need to just enter the text giveaway, all one word. Just giveaway. I'll paste the word as I've got it typed here into. Let me flip back across. So all you need to do is type in giveaway, the same as the Top Clack account just did there. I mean, he says he's going to give it away.
Yep.
So
and in the DM he sent me, he is confirming it's international. He'll ship anywhere that he can. So bam.
There you go.
There you go.
So thank you very much to Poo Typer. He's going to give away his NZ caps. All you need to do is put giveaway in the format that we've done it. We'll pass on the details to Poo Typer of whoever wins. We'll forward on your details. And of course, Poo Typer is the one that's responsible for this. We are not taking on any liability for the giveaway. It's all down to Poo Typer. So if you have any problems or challenges, we won't be able to fix it. But we'll be able to help you speak to Poo Typer if there is any challenges.
Yes. So thank you so much, Poo Typer, for that giveaway. That's awesome. Just type giveaway if you want to get in on that. Very nice. And if you don't want it, then don't enter. No worries. No harm, no foul. Hopefully it goes to someone that can enjoy and appreciate it. That's always the best case outcome, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Currently, we're sat at 30 eligible users, give or take. So we've got about 95 people watching. So if you are interested and you want the NZ caps, then just type in giveaway into the chat.
Yes.
We'll give it another minute.
Awesome. Sounds good. Yeah, lots of people entering. Very cool. Oh man,
nice.
There's a great question next after this. We'll dive into this question just a little bit after this giveaway. This is a really interesting one.
Okay, all right, guys. I'm going to run the giveaway in about 10 seconds. So this is your last chance now to be eligible. Type in the word giveaway, all one word, GIVEAWAY. Type it in now. You've got about 5 seconds before I roll it. If you're not there, you can't win it if you're not in it, guys. So just type it in. Just put it into chat. Type in giveaway. And we're going to roll it in 3, 2, 1, boom. And the winner is the Japanitrat. So there you go. Thank you very much, Japanitrat. You are the winner.
Nice.
So there we go.
Just,
thank you very much.
Feel free to,
if you want to reach out to Japanitrat.
Yeah, either Poo Typer can reach out directly to Japanitrat. That works too. Or if you would like to go through one of us, feel free to just PM me, Japanitrat, and I will relay your info. PM me on Discord, that'd be even better, and do a little confirmation screen cap of it actually being you on Twitch, and we'll get that ball rolling. So awesome stuff. Thank you so much for the giveaway, Poo Typer.
Thank you, Poo Typer. Thank you, man. That was really cool of you. Thank you, dude.
Yeah. Okay, I want to get back to this question now because this is pretty interesting. So Kimchi Jody Boy is asking, or he's saying rather, I have a question. How do you feel about a grading system for aftermarket products, viable or not? There have been many arguments for as well as against. The main one for the negative is that grading requires the product not to be used afterwards to maintain its grading. This is a
I think
really loaded topic, but a really interesting one.
yeah. Okay. So my first thought on this one isn't about maintaining gradings or anything else. It's about who does the grading in the first place and how is the grading completed. That's the big challenge for
That's
me.
the biggest one.
Usually when you're talking about like collectible cards or anything like that, they're sent to an expert who independently grades them based on the grading system, and they're someone who are vetted and has qualifications in that particular thing. I think the challenge for the keyboard community would be having people who have enough respect or knowledge or position and in the community that are able to do that grading for people. Because if people are just grading it themselves, well, it means no more than what it does when they post
Yeah.
in just saying in text, oh, it's in perfect condition now. It means no more than that. So you need to have a group of people who are known, respected, able to do the grading to a set series of requirements on a consistent basis across all of them. And I think that's the real challenge. It's not about maintaining it or anything else. I think once it's there, that's fine. Everything would have to be regraded for each sale because it's being used. I think that's the challenge, is setting up something like that. And how would it be paid for? Who'd pay for shipping? Both ways. Assume it would be the current owner. Maybe it would be the prospective owner. Is it going to be worth it to do that? Maybe in some parts of the world it's not. Is the grader, the guy making the decisions or the girl making the decisions on what grade it is, are they going to need some kind of repayment or kind of payment in any way, shape, or form for doing what they do? I don't know. Like, there's a whole raft of kind of concerns I'd have with it.
Yeah, a lot of variables, a lot of things that would have to be addressed. I think it's a really cool idea, but it would be immensely difficult to get off the ground, right? Like you mentioned, you kind of need like almost an established institution that is fully trustworthy, from all parties, and obviously independent from all parties. It, it'd be very difficult to do, but I think it would be beneficial, but it would just be so hard to get started. Um, you would require a lot, and you would require a lot of you would have to explain like what everything means, like how, like why grade the way that you grade, right? Like you have to have a scale, and everything has to mean something. um yeah, viable or not, I would say it's totally viable, but I don't know if we can do it right now. I think our hobby isn't quite large enough now to do it.
I think you'd have to do some sort of breakpoint assessment on it as well to say where how much value does doing this add, and when you add the value to by the grading, what's the breakpoint in terms of the value of the board that works for it? Is because it's not going to work for like a $200 KB defense board, right? But is it going to work for a $300, I don't know, a $400 Rama, or is it going to work for a $500 group buy board or a $600 one, or is it only going to work for TGRs and key cults? Or I don't know. You'd have to do some serious business expectations of where it adds value and where it doesn't add value, and where it adds guarantees and where it doesn't. I like to think that the majority of this hobby is kind of open about the condition of stuff. I've only ever I've done a lot of trades, right? I've done more trades than the average person in this hobby, significantly more. And I've only ever had one or two items arrive that have not, I felt, being up to the standard that the person described. And I think 95% of trades that happen probably are okay. Usually when something arrives not as described, it's because it was damaged in shipping as well, which you'll never account for even with a grading system.
Yeah,
So I think whilst it might have some use, I'm not sure the hobby's ready for it.
it's also like incredibly common for even like higher tier boards to just have like really basic defects from the factory, like anodization hook marks, for example.
Yeah.
A lot of internal markings that might not be super obvious but are there, and are honestly just expected, and a lot of vendors just consider that a stock to begin with, just because like something is rarely ever going to be like perfect 10 out of 10. It just almost never
And
happens. So you'd have to probably take that into account as well.
yeah, and different vendors have different they
Yeah.
have different requirements to meet a stock perspective as well. The perspective that one vendor has to say this is a stock or b stock, that might be completely different at a different vendor. The level at which a stock and b stock is declared will be different. And I know Kimchi Jodo has come back and said I wouldn't say it's adding value per se, but it will be perceiving as added value if you've got two boards for sale at the same price and they're the same keyboard and they say they're in the same condition, but one guy's paid for this service to have it rated, then that's going to add value and it's going to devalue the boards that don't have that rating. So I think if you had it, it would be about adding value to the product. It's not just a guarantee. People would see it as that guarantee would add value. So
Yeah.
it might not come from a value add proposition, but it would add value by its nature of what it
It'd
is.
be like, in more simple terms, it would be like buying a lubed custom keyboard that has switches lubed by Remski versus buying a lubed keyboard that has key switches lubed by some unknown luber. For example, like who lubes the switches? If it's this, even if it's the same board, if someone more prolific lubes the switches, it adds value to the board. And I guess if you had this kind of assessment, it would be a similar sort of scenario. I
Yeah,
think
like
that
if you've got
this wouldn't work unless, oh man, I don't think our community could support this yet. I don't think there are enough collectors of like really expensive keyboards that would care enough about this yet.
Yeah, I agree. I think the other big failing point for me at the minute, I think it could absolutely happen, it could work, and it could be a valuable proposition in the future. But I think right now, the biggest challenge is around the grading. You would need someone who has seen 10 or 15 of each of the top end boards that would qualify for this service to be able to justify what's A stock and B stock, and what grading system it rates under. And I know very few people who've seen 10 key cult number twos, for example. I know very few people who've seen 10 TGR Jane V2s in enough detail to be able to assess what's a regular hook mark, what's not a regular hook mark, what is likely a factory defect that carries across all the boards, what's not, except for the makers themselves.
Yeah, there
I
there
think
would
that's the big
be
challenge.
there would be a ridiculously small handful of people qualified to do this, if any, in our community. And at the same time, you have to be someone of like really high repute, right? Like you can't just be like a random person. You have to be someone that everyone can trust to not only send their boards but accurately grade their boards, especially if it's a service
Yeah.
that you're paying for. Because if you're some random people that no one's ever heard of, why would I send my board to you? Why would I pay you to evaluate a board? I don't know what your standards are. I don't know what your reputation in the community is. You might not have one, right? So like I think all the stars would have to align for something like this to actually initiate. But with that said, I could totally see this becoming a thing once the keyboard community is much more established. A lot of people like to
Sure. Yeah.
think that our community has been around like forever and like we have all these things figured out. But at the end of the day, like we haven't. We're still like sort of like taking off in this community. It's very much a new thing, regardless of the fact that it's been around for more than a decade. We're still kind of shaping the keyboard community as we go, and I think we're not ready for this yet, but I completely agree, Kimchi Jody Boy. I think this is a discussion that definitely needs to happen, and it's an awesome topic to think about because that would be a valuable service to a lot of people.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
I don't think it would be a
In
value
in
yet.
in the day when TGR Janes go for $6,500, then what's $35 to ship it to someone to have them say, yeah, this is A stock, right? It
Exactly.
kind of becomes a no-brainer. But there are so few of the keyboards out there that are worth that kind of money that I'm not sure it's there just yet. And I
Yeah.
think that I don't want to be like the Debbie Downer saying like no, 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 no. I please, I think it's a great idea. I just think the challenges to implementing it right now would be greater than the benefit that it would provide at the minute. But I think that will change over time if the hobby keeps growing.
Yeah. Completely agree. Awesome point, though. I mean, I'm really happy you brought that up because I had never actually really thought about that before. Um, yeah, he says there's obviously no clear cut answer for something like this, but the discussion on the topic should be considered. Fully agree. But given the massive growth within the hobby, the current method of pricing on the aftermarket isn't sustainable long term. Yeah, I mean, that's just how it goes when you're like dealing peer to peer, though, right? Like you don't really know until
Yeah,
you get the product in. I mean, you can take as many pictures and timestamps as you want, and that's obviously going to help. But you know, until you have something in your hands and you're inspecting it yourself, who knows, right?
sure, for sure. Yeah, I agree.
All right. And with that said, I think now is probably a good time to wrap up the stream. We've gone a little over time, but that's okay. I think we had a pretty fun time though. I really enjoyed the show and tell today, Jay. I'm glad to see all
Yeah,
the boards
it
from
was
chat.
good fun. It was good fun. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Seeing some boards
I
out there like that B face, man, there was some good boards in the chat
Yeah.
today.
See, I thought when we were gonna do this, I thought we were gonna see a lot of like key cults and TGRs and stuff like that. And like we've seen like a lot more like common, interesting boards like the Corn and like the Ergo Dash and
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
like stuff like
And
that is
that
really
Real
cool.
Force as well. That's the only type of board I would buy. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
These are like real like accessible boards that like well not always accessible, but like these are like real like everyday like kind of boards that people own, and that's really cool to me. You know, versus just seeing the super elite niche stuff. So yeah, thank you guys for
100%.
coming along for the ride. I'm looking for someone to raid right now. Any thoughts, Jay or
Let
chat?
me have a look.
Who should we raid, guys?
Uh,
Yeah, do
I'm
a
trying to
quick
see
browse
if
here.
there's anyone doing a keyboard build.
Um,
MetClicks is doing some lubing, but we raided MetClicks last time.
we raid MechClicks quite a bit. Our schedules seem to match up a lot. Not that we dislike raiding him, but it seems a little unfair to only raid him.
I'm going through makers and crafting, but I'm struggling to find any other
I've found
keyboard streams.
I've found two, and I've never heard of either of them. There's Niku TV, 12 viewers building a Ludwig themed keyboard, and then there's Shiba
Okay.
Keeb, building an Alpine 65 with retooled blacks. I don't know either of these streamers. I'm gonna
Let's do
briefly
Shiba.
open.
That sounds like a fun name.
Yeah, I'm briefly opening the Shiba stream, and we're gonna go check this out because that's a really hilarious desk mat that this person has, and I think that's cool. All right, well let's raid someone new, and hopefully the content is good as well. All right, guys, stick around for the
Sounds
raid.
good.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. Gondolindrum, is Gondolindrum live? No way.
Oh wait, really?
No way. I didn't even realize. I knew he. Oh, he is live. What is? Oh, he's doing some PCB design. Okay, that's really cool. That's educational, and we love Gondolindrum.
Yeah,
We'll raid Gondo this time. We've never raided.
let's do
him
Gondo. Yeah. Let's do Gondo.
How are we?
Let's go raid him, guys. And tell him he's a beautiful man, chat. Like,
Well,
just tell him he's a really beautiful guy.
he is a beautiful guy, so that's easy. Easy. All right, guys, stick around for this raid. Let's go over there, say something wholesome, and
Tell him he's a beautiful, beautiful man.
yes, be very sensual about it too. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Hopefully, you guys had a good fun time, just like we did. Check below the stream. You can find pretty much all of our outlets. Come join us in our Discord. You can talk about your favorite pie or your favorite keyboard or sheesh, I don't know, your
Anything.
yeah,
Just
anything.
anything.
There's what's whatever. You know, it's just come hang out, have a good time, and hopefully you guys enjoy your weekend. Thanks for watching, guys.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Let's start this raid now. Oh, I'm glad the old rating system is back in OBS now. I love to see it.